Hello and welcome to the 2023 OCR Awards, the Okras. Your hosts today are Bracken Crocker, Jack Bauer, myself, Rich Ryan. This is the third installment of the Okras, and boy, am I excited on a day like today. Bracken, how are you feeling about the third installment of the Okras?
I could not be more pumped up. I feel like we cover the spectrum here. I see you, I see Brady Quinn, some college football dapper analyst. I see Jack, and this is what I expect when I call in to get some sort of my text serviced. And I kind of feel like Chris Harris. Between all of this, I think we've got it covered.
Some of us are traveling this week and didn't have our suit with them.
No, you did well.
Full formal gear. You don't travel with that on Christmas Eve. You're not to the nines.
I had one bag to check. I couldn't fit it in there.
Of course.
Regardless, I made sure to get a white shirt and a tie. I at least hooked you up there.
So this is going to be a fantastic show, if I say so myself. This year we added a couple of different awards here, mostly in the hybrid area. We split out some awards to make it hybrid and OCR, or keeping the name because it's too good. You can't change the Okras.
Yeah, we're not the Okras. We're the Okras.
We're not. We are the Okras.
And are we going to get a little award to the people?
Oh, I don't know.
So we can talk about this after.
We could figure it out, but
let me just say this. My friend Kirk, every single year we have a board game meetup. Yeah, every year we have not Kirk the Wind, no Miller. Yeah, that's funny. No, RIP. But anyway, Kirk, we have a board game thing, and at the end of the year, we have like a mini awards show, like the best betrayer, stuff like that, throughout the year. And he makes these on his 3D printer. He makes these little awards. So I might be able to talk with him and maybe get like some Okra stylistic type thing and send them out to the winners. I think it would be kind of cool.
If we took a panel of 100 people,
yeah,
could they pick out an Okra out of a lineup?
Like an actual
vegetable okra.
Is that a problem that we could define it and then people associate okras with us?
100 out of 100, or how many out of 100?
How many out of 100 could pick out an okra if you gave them like 4 lookalikes?
If you show me like a broccoli versus an okra, I know which one's going to be the okra. But
if you show me a hot dog and an okra, I could.
But if you ask me to draw an okra, I'm not going to be able to nail that.
Yeah, maybe it's
it's green.
Maybe it's a draw an okra kind of thing.
Probably on an Etch-a-Sketch.
Maybe 50 on an Etch-a-Sketch. Shall we get into it?
First winners. First category.
First category of the year. And let's just kind of do the categories that we will be covering are performance of the year, upset of the year, best race, best battle, adding in goofy games of the year, goofy games athlete of the year, OCR breakout performer, hybrid breakout performer, international athlete of the year, international hybrid athlete of the year, hybrid athlete of the year, and OCR athlete of the year. So stay tuned top to bottom. We have an action-packed show today. Performance of the year 2023. First, do we need to do wheel of names?
Yeah. We're never not doing wheel of names.
So
yeah.
So the wheel deserves its own okra.
The wheel wins every time, every year.
The best category chooser of the year goes to the wheel of names.
Performance of the year.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
we're splitting some of these up by gender and hybrid. Others we're going combined.
We'll explain it as we go along. And we do the wheel of names because we each nominate, and then we will debate who we believe will get the okra. This is not by some academy who's doing this. No board is figuring these out. This is on the fly. Whoever makes the best case. Full screen.
Not the college football playoff committee.
No, this is more like BCS style. Computer. That's Jack. All right, here we go. Wheel of names is going. This is who gets to nominate the first.
Speaking
Rich. And it lands on the man who is still the High Rock doubles world champion.
Yes,
it doesn't matter who comes for the crown.
World champion, record holder.
World record holder.
And champion in my heart.
Thank you.
That's true.
Undefeated
teams.
It might be. And then it's going to go down because they're introducing the pro weight for doubles in 2024. BK, you're second. So this is this record.
Hey, give me my moment. Give me my moment.
All right.
Who's third?
Palio and I, we might have this record for until the end of time.
Ever.
Till kingdom come.
It's true.
Go.
All right, Jack, you are the third.
Mhm.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Your grandkids are gonna be like, Grandpa, how come you did women's weights? You'd be like, shut up, kids. I'm a world champ.
We wanted to run fast.
Yeah.
The thing, yeah, now with these courses now, man, it's just I was hearing a lot of excuse making, not from the athletes who tried to take the record, but just from like the peanut gallery around it. It's like, do we not understand how these courses work? It's like they're all different. It's how it's going to be. One rock zone doesn't add up to the other rock zone. One run's not going to add up to the other run. Some of the courses going to be crowded. Some are not. High Rocks is just getting more and more dumb. I'm going to nominate it for Goofy Games of the Year.
All
That's
right.
what
I support that.
That's what
Do
I'm
we want to
doing.
start it off? You want to just as that your nominee?
No, for performance of the
Aw.
year. We're doing male and female. Do you guys want to start male or female?
Start with the ladies.
You're first.
Start with the ladies. For performance of the year, I would like to nominate Nicole Miracle's performance at OCR WC 3K, the come from behind victory over Lindsay Webster in that 3K distance. BK,
Most
you're up.
dominant victory of the year.
Most dominant?
Dominant is not probably the word.
Most impressive victory, I would argue.
Sorry, incorrect wordage. I'm sweating so profusely in the sweater.
The
I'm
sweater looks good,
already
though.
dehydrated.
Worth it.
Oh, I
Get that
already
red
bet
lightning
Audrey.
in your veins.
Audrey is like, you're going to come back with 6-inch pit stains under each armpit. I'm like, honestly, if we had to
I'll show
choose
you
the
6 inches.
I was like, if we have to actually take bets on who's the biggest sweater in this group, I don't know if I could choose. I'm a huge sweater. Rich, you're super sweaty after
Mega.
raising Bracken. You just exist and you start sweating. We're a sweaty group.
Just on cam.
Yeah.
Just get me on a phone to call. If there's audio or video involved, whew, left
pits
pit
aren't
goes
moving.
to town.
Yeah.
Right pit's okay.
BK, who would you like to nominate here?
I'm going to, just for pure performance of the year, Morgan Schultz.
Awesome.
DecaFit World Championship. Came out and put it down. What, pillar to post, would we call it? Pillar to post. Not quite pillar to post, but I'm going to say pillar to post.
Almost more impressive than that. Because sometimes you can get away in a race and be wire to wire, but she had to battle back and forth to retain that lead. And also happening this past weekend, Lauren Griffith ran 62 and change, which would have been the world record last year.
Yes.
You know, like, so
This win's going to age well.
It's going to age very, very well. So I like that one. I obviously like that one. Good one.
Yep. My pick is Esther Hotobagiova taking down Lindsay in the Beast at Abu Dhabi. We had arguably the two best female racers over the past few years, with Nicole being out for most of the past couple of years. You had both of them thrown into a situation where they grabbed the wrong double sandbags. They had the men's weights. They're battling. Esther breaks away from Lindsay by about a minute and a half. Then Lindsay does what she does. She gets back. They're on the rig at the same exact time. And Esther held her off, and it was the second time that she beat her in the past 2 months. I was impressed. First world title by Esther.
That was the first name I wrote down for mine. I knew she'd be nominated, and I knew Morgan deserved a nomination. But I cannot fault that. She dug her teeth in and leaned into every second of that race and just took it to the champ.
That's a really good one. Over that distance, after Lindsay coming off of a world championship victory the day before, the double sandbag, do we have to negate some points because of the leaky sandbag?
No.
Okay.
I understand, but
Worth
both
being
of
brought up.
them had to deal with the circumstances there, and they both fought through it.
If we're talking asterisks, I need to bring this up now because this will impact several of my picks throughout the night. I went back to research some results, as one does before the Okras, because you got to
course.
come correct.
Absolutely.
On Spartan's own website, in the results from Abu Dhabi, 3K World Championship results. Next one, 21K Beast results. It is not even listed as a world championship on their own website. And that is going to have to factor heavily into my decisions on some of these legacy type or performance-based awards. And that we talked, is there an asterisk last week with our all-time rankings? Spartan has given the clear confirmation. it is not a world championship according to their website.
They also have in the past for Hobie Call when he won in 2011, his check says world's best racer, but then during later broadcasts, it says he won a world championship that year. I give it to him because that was the culmination event at that point. And so I get where you're coming from there for sure. Yeah.
In the first email we got that year, 2011, saying you have qualified, it said for the Spartan World Championship.
Gotcha.
They did call it that from the start. This Spartan's not labeling it. So I do need to put that out there into the Okra universe.
I think that's fair because these other ones that I did also have Lauren Weeks written down for High Rocks Worlds, that performance where she probably was not the favorite going in after Meg had run 58, 50 something a couple weeks prior.
Yeah.
That was an amazing performance, right?
She would have been if we separated hybrid. Morgan was very deserving, but I would have nominated Lauren there.
Right. So it's like the championship status of the event. And this Esther one, this could fit into a couple of the categories as well. Not that doesn't matter. You can win multiple categories here at the Okras.
Yeah. If you just look at what Esther did during that race, she ran faster in the beast with the men's weights by over 2 minutes versus Eugenio Godinez Romero. And he got second place at a national series men event, and he got 7th in the 3K the day before.
Yeah, but when did Eugenio start kicking? At
that's true.
6K
Valid.
And that's 21K.
Valid. Some people
he front loads his kick.
He front loads that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't have to go into the minutia. That's my nominee.
What's your vote?
I'm not sure. This is it's a good one. I didn't even have that one down. Probably because of the random designation of this race. I didn't even think of it.
And she's going to be in the play for upset of the year.
Potentially in battle of the year.
Yeah.
Is it an upset when she's already upset Lindsay a month before in Greece?
She did not upset Lindsay in Greece. That was a stage race, and she won one part of it, and it got beat by like 30 minutes. She did not beat her.
No real stage racer would ever call losing a stage an upset. That's like saying I split faster in the second lap of a 1500 than the world champ.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, great. You did. Yeah, and what happened at the finish?
Yeah. What about Nicole's? What about Nicole here at OCR World Championship? She had won the FISO race, the 15K, and was second in the FISO earlier. So she was in good form, right? But just we hadn't seen Lindsay get beat until that point. Yeah.
Well, when it was first presented, I said most dominant. I thought we were talking about FISO 3K, not OCR World's 3K.
FISO 15K, Nicole crushed. Ida won the 3K.
So I was thinking that was the most important and dominant performance of the year of any gender in OCR. And I would have called that for comeback performance of the year. But having already done that weekend to come back at OCR Worlds, it dulled the like spectacularness of it to me because she had already proved that she's back. So her at altitude on runnable terrain, she had a great close, but to eke out a win over Lindsay, I thought was less spectacular than the other two entrants in this category.
When you think of other sports and it's like, what's the best performance? Like, here's an example. We'll talk about like the flu game because of the tough circumstances that Michael Jordan had during that. You have just various games when the weather impacts it. You had a bad ruling where they had to carry the men's weights for a double sand. It was impacting their performance, and they still got through it and had a heck of a battle. And she held off Lindsay at the end. That's why performance. I'm interpreting it that way.
Mm-hmm. There's no losers here. All three are deserving, and I would say even Lauren Weeks into that. I didn't think to put her on there, but she's fully deserving as well. So whoever wins this is kind of sharing it three ways. I still vote Morgan.
I'm voting Esther.
You got me with Esther. Okay, I'll come over to that one.
All right. We'll have to figure out her mailing address for the Okra award.
This could be
spelling of last name. Yeah. The last year's winner was Chris Rogloski, being the first female to run 100 miles at World's Toughest Mudder. Yep. Esther follows in good company. Okay. We're off to a good start.
I wish we had like best spelling or worst pronunciation. One of those of the category just for us.
I think that's terrible.
After watching Trifecta Championship, it's not a lock for us anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, moving to the men.
Move on to the men. So BK, you go first. Jack second. I'm third. We'll just kind of cycle it that way.
It's going to shock no one. I have two people I cannot decide between.
Well, you have to choose one.
Choose one.
And so one of them is going to reoccur later for me. And so I'm removing Austin Azar from my ballot only because he's going to get mentioned later. And I'm going to say Kevin Gregory.
Okay.
I was going to give him a shout out.
You talk about just a performance, nailing every aspect of his execution. I can't say we saw a better executed race on this calendar year than what we just watched right there. And you could combine it into upset, and you could combine it into like world championship performance or standalone. Like he could check the box in so many that it's just my performance of the year.
And for the listeners, that's Deca Strong World Championships.
Deca Strong.
Doesn't even need to be noted.
I know. Everyone got Kevin.
The biggest
broke up the Ryland sweep.
The biggest cheer of the weekend.
And he did it with style, like some panache to it. It wasn't just like
flying off
catching
that
someone
bike.
Slipping.
He definitely has to practice the way he dismounts that bike. I've never done that.
I rewound and watched that. I don't think I could land that coming off of the cals with my quads that toast. I think I would buckle.
With your athleticism?
It wouldn't be the landing. It would be
rebound right back. You'd broad jump back to the next station, to the dead balls.
I think my femurs would be jello at that point.
The bone has turned to jello. Someone get a doctor out here. I like it. That's a good one. I got Kevin Gregory on a couple of ones coming up. I think that's a really solid pick there. Can't argue. Jack, what's up? What do you got?
All right. You mentioned him, or you mentioned Deca Strong World Championship being upset. I think what Ryland Shadag did that weekend was just impressive overall. I know that there were the top or the other two favorites in the race, Rich and Ryan Kent, didn't end up finishing. Regardless, I think that Ryland was not losing that day. And then when he came back, did the mile, just unbelievably dominant. If you were there in person, just watching what Ryland was doing, and then heading into that last lap after the sled took off at like 4:30 mile pace, no one has energy at that point. And then second place in Deca Strong with Kent closing in on him and Marcus Wallace giving him a run for the money. Like, he still performed all weekend. I know he did a couple of team races as well. He has the record for all three events. And he delivered. Sometimes these gym events, you see a time posted and you're like, did they actually run that fast? And of course, like his mile time was within a second of what he did last year.
Right.
But head to head, winning by that much, you don't win by 40 seconds in Deca Mile. Like, that's an absurd margin and just dominance right there. And then Deca Fit, same thing. He beat Magida and Nick Riker by 30 plus seconds there, and he was within 15 seconds of Kevin Gregory, 10-15 seconds. That was just, that weekend was very impressive by me.
Agreed. I have him on here. Just the weekend in the totality of it was really impressive, for sure. I'm going to put our guy VJ Jones out. Spartan World Championships. Winning his first Spartan World Championship, and with some adversity. We talked about this being his style of race when it first came out, but we saw over the course of the year that there's going to be different players, the different factors that come into this race, whether it is something like a double sandbag, running in sand, some technical obstacle. He had a little bit of all of that. He improved his strength and was able to really handle the strength aspects of that race. And when it came down to it, where there was a bit of a tactical mistake on his end and he had to respond, he did it with absolute authority. Dominant performance on that end, showing that he is the guy to beat. Best pistoler out there, without a doubt. That's really what I should put in. VJ Jones pistol shooting.
Sharp performance. He gets the Steph Curry Award for the best shooter.
Best shooter in the game. That's for sure. But taking that down on the biggest of stages, I think is really something worth noting. And the way that he did it, and against a field with Ryan Atkins in it, with Ryland Shadag in it, and these other athletes, Sergei Perelgin in it, beating other former world champions, goes a long way. So VJ Jones for my nominee.
I like that, in that I believe the toughest world championship to win is a middle distance championship. I think that's short enough that you can't mess up, and it's long enough that things can throw you off, and you really get one mistake tops. And he handled everything all at once. I think that time domain is the hardest to win.
And let's not forget, he had a hard travel last time coming to this race. So it wasn't a gimme
Redemption.
that he was going to do. And
Sure.
yeah, he got there a little bit earlier this time and worked out.
When looking at Rylands, right, he could very well have won all three anyway. And this is how I felt a little bit about Morgan's as well. The absence of some people in kind of could potentially be something to take away from. You could probably do the nitpick with Ryland on that as well, with Kent just not being at his full capacity. And I don't even need to mention myself on this, but
with Ryle, with
and Hunter not being there,
yeah. I was gonna say the only person really missing from that is Hunter, but he took down last year's champion in 2 of the events, the final 2 events.
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't deliver. Kevin just stepped up his game a ton.
Can we even say Hunter anymore?
Yeah,
he's never done one.
He's never done one, but you would imagine, and he's like the best hybrid athlete on the planet.
I mean, he should be the best, but he just has no interest to do it. So I don't even we can say he's missing.
It's not it wasn't an international field either. Like just decade. I don't think it's gonna be less.
I wouldn't put Hunter as a favorite in like a Deca mile. Honestly, I think Ryland would be.
I don't understand how that could. How?
There's only one thing Ryland can do better than Hunter.
And just run?
Top fastest speed running, yeah.
Yeah.
And Hunter just stretched Anas out. Like
I don't see how he would. I don't know. Like he would ski 139.
He was holding 130 for his splits with Anas. Like it's Ryland's a freak. Hunter's a freak, and he's 40 pounds heavier.
But that time, maybe that 20-minute high end is something that he wouldn't be able to hold.
Anyway,
either way, at DECA, we don't see all the best athletes internationally either.
I get it.
Right? Like,
yeah,
like a Sandbach, Ronco, maybe they'll be okay. I don't know. That's the only thing against a DECA fit. Just it's not a full field.
Watching Ronco take like 15 strides in a 160-meter run in a DECA would be fun.
big bounds.
Yeah,
big bounds down.
All right, who are we going with? I'm going with Bracken's choice. I wanted to nominate Kevin. I think he gave the crowd what they were looking at. Everyone was so amped. He stepped up his game. I know Deca Mile, he still did reasonably well, but like it's a different sport and specialization works. And he probably tested his strategy, 100 different times at his local gym to figure out if I go one more second slower or faster on the air bike and go a little bit slower on the road. Like he perfected it so much throughout the season. He won 3 team races and a solo title in DECA Strong, different partners. He was the difference maker, like no disrespect to his teammates. I don't think you can argue against Kevin Gregory there.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the team ones, the team for that weekend.
Yeah. Right. Ryland had the best weekend, but Ryland took care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin lined up a moonshot and hit it. And so I'm sticking with him.
All right. Kevin Gregory, performance of the year, DECA Strong, basically just that assault bike. Just getting on slow.
It's the biggest difference.
Faster. The skier was as impressive to me.
I was skiing like him yesterday, just doing some recovery stuff and seeing how fast I could get it with just without using my legs at all. It's interesting. It's definitely it was going a little faster than I thought it would. I was getting like just under 2 with barely doing any work. Wonder what it was. I should ask him what his splits were on that. He's a big boy, so he could probably pull it pretty well.
We'll withhold his Okra until he gives us his splits.
Give us that information.
Kevin writes them all down though. He sends me a lot of handwritten notes, so he'll have it.
Last year's performance of the year winner, Tyler Veerman, OCR WC 15K.
Yeah,
good company there. On to upset of the year, Kevin Gregory and Esther. Checks in the mail. Upset of the year, last year's winner, DJ Fox at World's Toughest Mudder. This year nominating first, Jack Bauer.
Upset of the year. torn between two people. It's
You
kind of like
say that
bragging.
super at trifecta, I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
No. And we're going women first, or are we going men?
I had this combined.
Oh, all things combined.
All things combined. So men, women, and hybrid OCR are all combined here.
Jack, you know I'm going to talk about one man and one woman, so you can go ahead and do the same thing.
I know.
Was this one of them that you didn't have written down yet? Is this the stalling tactic?
I have a couple.
And now you're starting.
Go ahead. I'll
right.
jump in after. I don't want to.
BK's got some.
I've got two that
I actually have Bubbles again and Esther. And I also have Ryan Atkins against Gregory Basilico just because no one should outrun Gregory in a flat beast.
Ryan Atkins, we've decided Ryan Atkins is the greatest OCR athlete of all time.
But he didn't outrun Basilico.
And so I choose Esther. She took down with no failures. She took down the greatest OCR athlete of all time.
Yep.
On the terrain where that athlete has previously won world championships. And she took it to her like Morgan, she did it every step of the way.
And that would be, Jack, how many Spartan races had Lindsay won up until that point? Was it over 20?
In her life?
No. In a row.
Undefeated streak, she was at like 19 or 20.
Yeah. All like championships. She wasn't doing the Nick Riker Sunday special.
Yep. All right. That's a good one. All right. I'm going OCR on this one because we're separating the two, right?
No.
Or we're combining the two. Sorry.
Combined.
Everything is combined for upset.
FISO World Championship. Who the heck would have picked John Maria Savani to win the 3K and get second in the 14K against that field?
Well, no one would have picked a 14K to start with, so I suppose that could have pulled upset of the year.
For the 14K.
That's
I still
true.
have it written as 15 just because I'm like, I'm not ready for 14K. Not doing it.
But
I like it.
He was basically like, he's been around for a few years, done well locally in Italy, and just put everything into training over the past year. He's doing like 3-a-days. People say he's just obsessed. And clearly it worked because he took down some really good athletes, improved his running a ton. But if you had, the 20 most likely to end up on the podium, he probably wouldn't have been it at the start of the day, given who was there.
That's a good one.
Submission.
That's a good one.
Do you know why he wasn't in Abu Dhabi?
He got like 9th.
He was like 9th or something like that.
He slipped under my radar there entirely.
He was on my team.
He's not young, right? He's closer to our age.
35, 36, something.
Yeah. Nice.
He's got the Bracken hairstyle.
He's entered his second prime.
Second prime.
Yeah, 30 to 40.
39 is real
35
good
to 40.
For OCR.
I have Morgan Schultz here for DecaFit. We had previously mentioned her. She came into this event as I think like the 6th seed, pretty under the radar overall for the past couple of years, and came out. I don't think anybody had picked her to win the thing. Like, someone like, oh, but she's someone to watch out for. And then the way that she did it, the way that Bracken alluded to, was pretty impressive. So I don't know.
Second fastest time ever.
Second fastest time ever, leaving no doubt. So just being able to win that over the previous world champion who was in the race, Tara Jackson, finished second. So
the only argument against her, which you can't falter, Lauren was not there, Meg wasn't there.
Right.
Like, doesn't mean she would have beat them. Yeah. I think it would have been a bigger upset if they were there in the eyes of those two are such heavy favorites at that point.
But if you do,
and Vivian got sick also. Like it's you cannot take away a world title. She still did it, and she easily could have beat them. But I think that upset has to involve beating people who are.
And Gian didn't have Atkins,
VJ,
anyone,
VJ.
I got
Rylan, Albin. Good field for sure, but same goes back on that end.
I know.
Anybody else? I had Nicole here for that 3K as well, and then I had Bubbles on here.
I don't think you can give Nicole an yes, it's unexpected, but upset is like the 14 seed beating the 3 seed of March Madness. You don't is Nicole winning a world championship an upset when she's done it like 5 or 6
Well,
times
when
before,
you beat someone who's so much better than the field and has been for the past 3 or 4 years
since you got hurt. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like it's like a heavyweight fighter or a fighter getting beat by the second best when
Mhm.
it's like, oh wow, that isn't something that you don't really expect.
So I'm
Actually-
weighing these in that Jack's pick upset more people than anyone else did. All the people he beat was an upset to the outsiders. Morgan upset the second most amount of people and the reigning world champ, but Esther upset the best ever. And so I'm weighing that over cumulative places gained versus what she was supposed to take second. She took first.
Well,
I'm counting
yes,
that like someone beating Alabama in their prime. Like,
but
even though you were number 2, you beat number 1. That was not supposed to happen. We've never really seen this happen in this modern era. So I still vote Esther.
But you started off the program saying that it wasn't, or maybe Rich did, saying that it wasn't a real world championship. And we just showed 2 people who won a world championship. So this was a glorified local battle. And if you're not treating it as a world championship.
Yeah, it would be like if Alabama
Yeah,
won the
for
world
sure.
championship and then played in like an exhibition game at like the Senior Bowl or something
Yeah.
the next week. That's the thing. Like Lindsay just won a world championship. I don't know if she cared that much about this race. Where
She doesn't like losing.
Oh, well, for sure. But like she just won a huge paycheck. Like I'm sure she
You're not
came
wrong.
over there for that, where everybody was in that race with Gian was there to win that race. So I
Yeah.
kind of like that one. I'm going with Jack on this one. You keeping your vote, Jack?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can't argue that.
It was just so unexpected given who was there. Like it would be like someone on the Spartan scene but it was like DJ Fox, like very, very good, but not the favorite heading into it. And it's like, wow, he put it all together and look what happened. That's kind of how I see it. And DJ won last year. So
when I saw his name, I thought he was going to be more like a Yessa DeHare like kind of athlete who's younger, who's coming onto the scene.
No,
but since he's not, and he put it all together for
like
the entire weekend too.
In
like
that race, second place, Yessa DeHare, and he beat him by 20 seconds. And then Thibaut Deboucher, Leon Kofod, Thomas Van Tonder, Jonas Drescher, Igor Belasov, Peter Vanicki, like a bunch of really good people. It wasn't, and this was an obstacle proficient course, so those guys, we know the more obstacles, the better they are. And he took them down by minutes.
Can't argue. I like it.
All right.
Checks them out. On to best race battle / best race. This is kind of a one-off of what we thought was the most exciting visual race. Not like the best accomplishment, but just like what we saw out there. What was the most like entertaining? Last year, the best race battle was Ryan Atkins versus Sergey Perelagin at Spartan World Championships, where they were throwing blows at each other for miles at a time. Who's up? I'm up.
Yep.
I'm going to put Pavel Hodinja and VJ Jones out on this one. Spartan Race World Championship again. Pavel making that massive comeback on that sandbag with how much time was left in that race? Would we say 90 seconds?
Less
than a minute, 60 seconds.
Well, from the point that they dropped the sandbag,
okay,
90. I'll give you 90 seconds, but at most.
So on a track, we're talking like 600 meters, a battle of 600 meters to go with a monster kick. Pavel really putting it out there. I was thinking about today. Do you think Pavel went through that rig as aggressive as he possibly could have, or do you think he's kicking himself, thinking like, because in that moment, right? Like, it's like I could win, but if I miss, I could lose the podium.
I think
I'm sure $15,000 was on his mind. Also, like, I want to win this, but do I want to pull an Eugenio?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the trickiest part of all of OCR racing. Other than pacing like the first 2 miles of any race, I think the hardest part is emptying the tank in the gauntlet. Because at any given point, you could do any one thing faster. But there's that worry of what the thing looming. And so looking back, for sure, he had something else to give, but only in retrospect could you say, should I have or not?
Yeah. He's probably kicking himself a little bit, but he got second place at World Championships. Walked away with a big
Yeah.
paycheck.
And it
beat
wasn't
Ryan
15
Atkins.
seconds. It was like 4 seconds that he was behind, except for the pistol at that point. Like
He would have lost the pistol anyway.
I know, but I'm saying, like, on paper, it looks like
Right.
the battle wasn't that was
Oh yeah,
a
exactly.
battle.
Totally. That's my nominee.
My favorite battle I watched in person was Kent and Rylan at High Rocks.
That
It wasn't the
really
biggest race in the world. It was close, but it was just from a battle standpoint. That was a battle.
It was a big race.
It never fully separated. And when it started to, it came right back down. And from the start to the finish, those two were tethered. And that was an awesome battle. But the most important battle was, I think, Lindsay versus the field at Abu Dhabi all weekend long. She just never got an easy go of it, and she just was caught in it the whole time. And we saw her behind. We saw her stretched out a bit and saw her have to come back down and make strong moves just to get back into the mix again. In the 3K, coming off of that pistol, having to make up like a 40-meter gap in a 3K race, maybe a 60-meter gap at one point. We've just not seen her like that, and she didn't get a break throughout the rounds, throughout the final, throughout the beast. It was just all weekend. So my actual submission is Lindsay versus Abu Dhabi.
Besides Nicole, you had the other 3 best women in a long time all battling her.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't have her strength of going up in the mountains and running away on the downhill, or being able to close on a late second half climb. This is flat in the desert. She did it.
Yeah. In every round, every race, she got someone's best.
Yeah.
She had to keep surviving other people's bests over and over. So as compelling as Rylan and Kent were in person, Lindsay did that like 4 straight times. So that's my submission.
And the fact that she had to come back and had to run an unpreferred strat, it would be like tripping on the first, right out of the gates, like Camilla does, or Michaela did recently. It's like, crap, this is not what I expected. And now you're down, and now you suddenly have 2/3 of the race to make it up instead of the whole race. So,
and VJ didn't battle with him the whole time. They met up again at the end. It was a great race, but I guess I lean more into the battle than the race definition of this category.
It's fair.
Yeah. Well, I know that we already talked about Esther and Lindsay in the Beast. I think that meets the definition of the word battle. Just both of them, one sandbag at a time, getting up that crazy sand dune. It was an 11.5-minute sandbag for them. They were running side by side beforehand. They, Esther separated a little bit, no different than what Gregory and Atkins had, where they were together for a decent chunk. Then Gregory separated, and then at the end, the finish was a lot closer. But you still had both of them on the rig at the same time, both of them on the spear throw at the same time. Not the pistol, because they replaced that. Heading over A-frame at the same time. You have the goat chasing you right at the end. And I know it's not a world title, but just like the Rylan versus Ryan Kent battle, where you just kept seeing the not lead changes, but like coming back together. Holy crap, Rylan just put 10 seconds on this run, and Kent's moving really well. That was kind of how I thought about this. Like I was audible watching it, like screaming at my screen multiple times, like, holy crap, I can't believe she's making a move, or look how brutal this sandbag is. That was a battle by the definition of a battle, in my opinion.
Is that basically the same nominee as Bracken's, though?
No, he did the 3K.
3K.
No, I did the whole weekend.
The weekend. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lindsay and versus the field in Abu Dhabi. Which is cheating.
Definitely cheating.
Bracken likes overlap.
This really isn't this is kind of a weird category.
So I actually think the 3K, due to the circumstances that Lindsay was put into, having to change, and she has the 3 running away from her, I think that was a better battle, in my opinion. I would have gone with that. I thought that you chose the 3K, so that's why I was defending the Beast.
The battle was fun with the 4 athletes kind of all together. Like the visuals were great. Something we don't really get in OCR that often is seeing kind of people back and forth and having the outcome being the balance. I like it. Lindsay versus the entire world.
Yeah.
Count it.
Count it.
I also had I had the Deca Strong down. Honorable mention. The men's Deca Strong. The women's Deca Strong was a pretty good battle too. I had Kempson versus Sean Roberts here, and then I had in random Savage Race, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah. My other one, which was a little bit different, would have been David Magida and Eric Williams in basically any relay that they did. They just had such different tactics than Taylor Haney, for instance, like when he was pulling away. Who was he with again? He was with Colin.
Colin.
The two of them like were just super dominant and had really different strengths than Magida and Eric, and they were like getting on and off the machines at interesting times. But then they just it was just so fun watching it in person because of the different strategies. But I still think, you know, the meaningfulness of the 3K OCR worlds or
I'm out
worlds.
on Deca teams.
Yeah,
BK hates it. Bad point. Point for BK. Lindsay versus the world. That's the winner.
Yep.
On to new categories.
Ooh.
Goofy Games Event of the Year, followed by Goofy Games Athlete of the Year. I think we should probably have a different name for these Goofy Games Athlete of the Year. I mean, these are good athletes. I don't know if that sounds great, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We didn't invent it.
I mean,
well, you invented the term.
A little.
We invented it.
Dave Claxton and Hybrid, Rich Ryan, Goofy Games. Yeah.
And Goofy Games is way more clear. Hybrid racing, that's too broad. Hybrid, this and that doesn't make any sense. Goofy, people get it. Goofy Games of the Year. Am I up?
You did last time.
Oh, okay, I'm last.
I have 2 submissions. I have intentionally
one.
Goofy
you just
Games
did
of the
2
year.
last time. You're doing 1 now.
We can
take a look at my sweater and then tell me if I'm going to follow the rules.
So yeah,
for the intentional Goofy Games of the Year and unintentionally Goofy Games of the Year. For my intentional Goofy Game of the Year, I think it goes to Go Ruck.
I actually have Goofy Games of the Year, and then I wanted to pitch. It's calling it the Go Ruck Award.
Oh, the Go Ruck Award. Then they have to win it
because I think it's just the pinnacle. No, it's in its own category. It's its own thing. It's the pinnacle of goofiness.
I don't know how I can pitch anything but Go Ruck as the Goofy Games of the Year because it set the definition for what we were trying to define Goofy Games by. It has to have loaded carries. It has to combine random bits of fitness and endurance, and you have to wrestle or
combat.
At some point.
Gotta combat.
You have to fight.
Yeah, and then at the very end, your prize is determined by one random thing that had nothing to do with anything prior to that. And you're not rewarded for anything you did up until that point. Like they set the blueprint for what Goofy Games are. And so they have to take home year 1.
The final this year, imagine, I mean, it looked like a hard final, right? And like, it was Carly Wopat versus Calypso Sheridan. And it was just like, basically like, the bigger athlete's going to win. Just carry a bunch of stuff real slow back and forth. And like, imagine Calypso being like, are you kidding me? It's like the year before. It's like, now it comes down to wrestling. Jared Newby's like, I don't know how to wrestle. What is this?
Now that you've completed your 12-mile ruck race, the only fair way to settle this is sand wrestling.
I know you're the best rucker, and this event has ruck in the title, but let's not use that to determine the winner.
But if you would get killed in battle, it doesn't matter how well you ruck. Like, I guess so. That's why I think they should just start with that.
That guy would be 12 miles behind me already, so I don't think he'd be wrestling me.
For sure.
I'm already at the pickup.
If Medeiros and I saw a bear in the woods, like he's getting eaten by that bear, dude.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm gone. I should be the CrossFit Games champion.
I'll fight you if you can make it to the LZ with me. How about that?
Right. All right. I mean, you can't argue with the Go Ruck Games winning the Go Ruck Award.
No, you can't.
But we got to
For unintentionally goofy, I think there's a 3-way tie.
Oh my God! What are you having?
He's got to nominate all the games.
This is no. You're stealing all my ideas.
Stage together.
Well, let's
accept this.
Let's let. Oh, they're all one. Let's let Jack nominate his before you talk about all the goofy.
This is one.
It is just
go
one.
ahead, Jack.
Go for it. Yeah. You can finish your bragging. Go ahead.
I'll never finish.
All right.
Go.
I don't know if this is necessarily Goofy Games, but the CrossFit 5K.
You taking my shtick?
CrossFit Games 5K wasn't a 5K, and they doubled down and they tripled down. and it just blew out of
They'll never end.
proportions. And we use that as one of the baselines in our made up goofy games. Like they couldn't get the wheel measurement right, and they were just defending it like they didn't screw up over and over again. It wasn't specifically to, like, most of the CrossFit games very well run. That was the goofy games within a professional event. That's a very goofy event.
We could add the Northern California Classic 800 meter.
800 meter where they're running 139.
You could just say all CrossFit running events.
Yeah.
It's outside the box. It's not bad. It's not bad. BK, was that what you're going to pitch?
No, I like that. I think it's so funny that they're experts at measuring weight and not distance. It's like, listen, it's not our thing, guy. You expect me to measure everything perfectly? No.
It's almost so much time in the day. Measured with the wheel 3 times. Look how fat. Like,
is there a button that switches from imperial to metric? Yes. No one knows what that means. We measured it.
Yeah. And then Dave Castro got on months later, still didn't know up to it. Like,
the best is that, at
Henshaw, and then they invited Chris Henshaw, who doesn't have anything to do with High Rocks, to be like the speaker and talk about running after he screwed that up at one of the High Rocks. But like, just the whole thing just evolved. And like you mentioned, that 800 later on, just CrossFit measurements.
135, I think they ran. Shit is fast.
Yeah, dude. There were like 6 guys under 140.
Hey, if you train constantly varied domains, whatever, I forget the whole shtick, but if you train that way, you're gonna run faster than David Rudisha.
I wanted so badly to see some protesters at that aerobic capacity masterclass that Henshaw was putting on. People in the back like, meters aren't real. Meters aren't real. We don't care about your aerobic capacity. What's your 5,000 yard time?
That was just a thing, right? He's like, yeah, no, they measured it 3 times. These guys are clearly running 520s. When you're watching them, it's like, those are maybe 610s.
Yeah.
You should probably
just own it. It's impressive when you weigh 220 pounds and you're on a
it's fine. That's what I said the whole time.
Totally
it's
fine.
Great.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they freaking did clean and jerk 400 pounds later that day.
Everyone.
It's amazing.
Everyone with a little extra pocket change should send the cheapest Amazon wheel you can find to Henshaw and Castro for Christmas. He should get like 10,000 wheels for Christmas.
Yep. All right, so that's my nominee.
I like it.
All right, I have one again that is, I have like 1 or 2 that are legit, or one that is good. We'll forget about that. But I'm nominating the Gov games. That is the goofiest of the goofy games. It's just carnival games out there, basically like Survivor, inviting all these high-end athletes to basically play carnival games. Try to toss a ball into a basket that is like rigged, and just complete goofiness.
Don't tell how the scoring goes either. Just
no idea how the scoring goes. No protest. Nothing that goes along with it. And it was the least legitimate games in terms of sport I've ever been a part of.
But did you fight?
We didn't fight though.
No.
Had to keep our shirts on.
Yeah.
Got corrected over that, yeah.
That's as goofy as it gets.
Not bad. And you had some of the best in the world there.
Yeah, like really, really good athletes at this event.
Yeah.
Like a number of CrossFit Games athletes. And were there some high-end
Pavel
runners
was there.
Too? Who's that?
Like Pavel, who just got second at Worlds, was there. Lindsay was on a team. Ida was on a team. They're good athletes.
Amazing athletes.
Like, how many great, legitimate world-class athletes can we get to not use their athleticism
to do the
same
dumb
game?
To build a house of cards, of 6-foot playing cards and building a house? People will love it.
Yeah.
Goofy as it gets, dude. BK, back to you.
Nah, you know what? I'm happy with this.
No, come on. We need to hear what you got.
No one's going to mention
the
the porter rower where you brought a rower up a mountain.
Oh, that.
Well,
that
if we
Green
had
Beret?
one goofiest event, that is my submission.
Yeah.
The single goofiest event.
Just in case you're in a storm and you need to row your way out after hiking up a mountain.
I like it.
It's the most non-functional, because there are already portage events. They are run, portage, canoe or kayak run. There are events like this, and they said, how can we make this non-functional? It's the least functional event I've ever heard of that actually needs fitness to require.
I liked it.
to required to be able to do well at it.
I would have done it.
It is
Yeah.
it felt like an SNL skit. Like these events are all like someone came up with it while drinking, and this is the SNL mocking of those people who came up with it drinking. I just can't wrap my mind around it.
What would you guys ever program this for any of your athletes?
I can't tell you how many times I've run up a trail here in Colorado and been like, damn, you know what? I wish I
had a
right
rower now.
Fucking 10K on the row. Concept 2.
So I have this thing where I would want to get a ton of vert, but the only way to get any good vert, like long sustained climbs, is on concrete here. So I always thought, what if I just ran ghost riding a bike up it and just bike down, ran up, bike down. And that was too goofy for me. And they're like,
that's actually
no,
pretty functional, right? Yeah.
you just
can
need a
get down.
heavier implement that you can't ride down. that's what you need, guy. And they did it. And they stuck to it. No one asked for
put
it.
some wheels on that.
No one
rower.
wanted it. No one even said that sounds cool. And they're like, I hear what you're not saying. Let's do it.
But at least it wasn't like, hey, let's invite the best athletes in the world out here to do this to prove that our shit is cool. That was just like something goofy.
They got people dialed into that task.
They were good athletes out there for sure, but it wasn't like we're here to test this and that. Like what your pet peeve is BK, which I agree with, of being like, hey, what are you testing here? They're just like, we're not testing anything.
I mean, when we designed our own goofy games in that episode, like this event inspired some of those events. That this single competition was ridiculous.
I don't think I could have. I think if I would have sat down for like a 3-hour brainstorm, I don't think I would have come up with something like that.
No,
that's just
even when we tried making it intentionally goofy, we couldn't break out of our natural programming of like, we got to test something. We couldn't have come up with this. They did it.
They did.
And I don't know if you'll ever see another event quite like this. So that's my most goofy event of the year.
That one's really good. I had Rally in the Valley on here. That was actually a legit competition that I thought the programming was, for the most part, good. Maybe a couple of goofy things in there, but
they are the one I would attend. They're the best goofy game, best example of what goofy games could be.
Yeah.
Rally in the Valley had weird events like paddleboard, and then also an elimination,
like a memory test or something.
Yeah, like an elimination thing where you made the top 8, then 4, then 2.
Which is okay. I don't love that way to end these events.
I know, but it was a weird scoring system plus strange events that normally aren't tested. So yeah, it was different.
It fits the category for the most part. And then Alpha Warrior, of course, with the tug of war and like the 10-second like lead after the tug of war with a yoke that made no sense in it, just because they're just like, what's cool? And then just like put it all together. Like put in succession. Did you guys think about the order of these? Like, we just put cool stuff out here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now and like that was just like a bummer of an ending. Like that just was
the biggest letdown. Yeah.
There are goofy games that inspire you. There are goofy games that test you. And then there are goofy games where you get done and think, why? And that was that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a letdown. Like you said, it was a bummer of an ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't need it. We just like, they had to have combat in it. You know, like it could have just been that yoke, and then the person just is off and racing into their thing. But they basically took that event from Carly, which was lame.
All right. What are we going with?
Got the best laugh out of that Green Beret. I mean, if like laughter should be like what wins the Go Ruck Award, just like how silly you feel when talking about it. So I think Green Beret has to win.
So here's what I propose.
Okay.
They win, but we give Go Ruck the title of it. They win the Go Ruck Goofy Games Award.
They've been doing this for years.
Yeah. Go Ruck doesn't win, even though I think they should, but they win by being immortalized on the trophy.
I'm with it.
Okay. I can vote. I can get on board with that.
And they get, and like, we'll send them a Go Ruck sack with like Jello in it or something ridiculous, something that makes no sense.
I vote for Exploding Ink in the sack.
Exploding Ink. Okay, yeah. Like spring-loaded snakes fly out of it.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box thing.
All right.
Congrats.
I'm glad we got that one done.
Congratulations.
Good.
Thanks, Rich.
Congratulations. All right. So Goofy Games Athlete of the Year. Again, we should probably come up with a different name than this. Somewhat hybrid is definitely the
Most ready for the unexpected.
Yeah.
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 We need a fake word though, like
Yeah.
hybridized.
Yeah.
Hybridized is not bad. Hybridized athlete of the year.
The
Who's
random
the
athlete
most
award.
hybridizedest?
Yeah. What's a synonym for random, Jack? What's the language of
Uh,
origin?
Unexpected.
Never mind. You're
I don't
spelling. Never mind. You're not a thesaurus.
Yeah.
You are a spelling machine and a time calculator.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous is not bad. All right. Who's up? Who's up first?
I think
Jack.
me. Yeah. Goofy Games athlete, Jarrett Newby.
He's the GOAT,
Every single
dude.
thing.
Jared
Yeah.
Newby.
He's the winner. We talked about him a little bit before. You put weight on that man's back, he's going to win that event. Made the finals. Could have easily won Go Ruck Games the year before. It involved wrestling, but he was the best Go Ruck or best Goofy Games athlete up until then. He goes to all of them. Does Grit Games. He's done several of them, and I would put my money on Jarrett anytime that I hear random events are going on. You know, he's got Noob Sanity. Obstacles aren't going to slow him down. He's very proficient on that.
He's
as long
gonna
as his hands
create-
don't rip.
He's going to create the ultimate Goofy Games out there.
He is
Mhm.
designed, and he puts on a Goofy Games.
He does.
I don't know how you can't
He's
give it to
leaning
him.
into it.
Should we just
And
pass over this category and just give him his award?
It's his. And
Yeah.
what I love about him is that he's in on the joke, but he also monetizes it.
But he
Like,
goes
I
hard.
get this is dumb,
But he's really good.
but I'm
Yeah,
going to
really
be the
good.
best at it.
Mhm.
Like if you're going to put on a dumb event that we all agree is dumb, I'm going to be the best at it. And I'm kind of pumped that I am, and I also get it that it's dumb. Like I like that. He strikes the perfect balance.
He does it great. He did. Yeah. He second at Grit Games this year. I think he was in like the top 8. I guess everybody's in the top 8 of Go Ruck. Where else? He went to Alpha Warrior. He has all the world records with the Go Ruck, Deca, and High Rock stuff.
He
Yeah.
set a half marathon world record running with
I'm
weight.
not sure if that was this year or last year.
Oh, I thought it
sure
was
calendar
earlier this
year.
year. But
That was
Potential.
technically, I thought it was this year. I thought it was spring.
yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was like April or
Yeah, I think you're right.
around
I think
there.
you're right. That's true. That's true. And he like smashed it by unprecedented amounts. This is a good one. This is a combined
Are there
male and female.
goofier games athletes than him? Yes. But he's the best at it.
Well, I mean, we got to talk about like Cole Schwartz seriously lands on the podium at every single one of these, no matter
Everyone.
what it is, and like there is something to be said about being able to adapt on the fly and figuring out how to do these goofy ass games that are hard, right? They're physical challenges that take a high level of fitness to do, and to be able to consistently be able to accomplish high results without very specific prep.
Mhm.
That's like a skill, and
he's strong. He's really strong.
really strong.
He
He
can
can get through
run.
obstacles. He can run. Like he can just do all of the stuff like pretty well.
He can. And he gets the inside track on at least 2 events per year. He's sleeping with the owners kind of thing. Not like actually, but like, like there's pillow talk going on.
Maybe.
And that's a goofy skill to have.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's a leg up in this industry.
That's not. Yeah, that is definitely in the positive category.
Yeah.
And then like Carly Wopat,
She's the obvious nominee for women.
she
got
won
screwed
Gold
Well,
Ruck.
because-
she's not the obvious.
Chris,
I think Chris Rogowski is up
Okay.
there
It's
too.
Chris. It really is. She
Chris is
won.
my
would
vote.
Chris have won Alpha Warrior had the scoring been a little bit different for that final
you
event
gotta-
on the rig?
You can only play the game that you're in.
I know,
It's-
but which
goof.
is the reason
Goofy.
Goofy Games exist.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Chris
and
is the obvious choice.
She won that, and she won Grit.
Carly's the heir apparent. Carly's lurking.
Carly's definitely. I mean, but Carly won.
She might also be too serious.
Well,
for
Carly,
Goofy
Carly
Games.
won. She won Battle Bunker, too. Battle Bunker and Go Ruck, but Chris wasn't
did.
at. Was Chris at Go Ruck?
Yes, she did not do Palm Beach because it was the same weekend.
Oh my god,
Oh, great.
that's not great. So Carly beat her there. I don't think Chris did Battle Bunker, which we didn't talk about for Goofy Games of the Year. I mean, that was a whole thing. That was the entire year of goofiness.
The
Had it
bobbing in
from
the pool.
from
Yeah.
March to the bobbing. I don't know. I think this is a 4-way tie.
Yeah,
Everybody
Jarrett
wins.
wins.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
So you have Jarrett, Cole, Carly, Chris,
yes.
and they wrestle for it.
Battle royal. Is it like over the
Perfect.
ropes, or is it like getting stabbed with a fake knife?
Honestly, I might
think
take
it's-
Carly.
I think we weight down the okra and we drop it in the deep end of the pool. No rules. Whoever gets it out of the pool wins the title.
And it's
Okay.
deep.
How
like
deep?
50 feet.
50 feet deep.
I think 10 to 12 is enough for me.
50's too deep.
Uh,
I
Too
can't
deep
do
But
for
you're
Goofy
wearing a
games, like
ruck.
Not the Marianas Trench.
that. You can get down there. You can get to 50 feet if you're wearing a ruck for sure.
Yeah. The ruck
It's never the descent
bobbing
that
in the
gets you.
water event. Yeah.
All right, Jared Newby, he's the GOAT, dude. We all know it. This is
You gotta do
this
it.
was
Maybe
a
we can
fri-
name it after him also.
frivolous conversation. Not yet, almost.
Yeah.
But
Just
very
give me one more year.
All right.
Show me
Frivolous.
something
I've
for one
seen a
more
lot.
year, and he can become the go ruck of the Goofy Games
The
athletes.
goat ruck. He's the greatest
Goat
of all
ruck.
time. Yeah.
Jack,
All
that was
right.
good.
let's move
That was
along.
good.
That was a great addition to the Okras. I think everyone agrees. This next category is OCR Breakout Performer / Most Improved. We're separating this out. Last year we only did one between OCR and hybrid. Now that they are dividing even further, we're going to do a breakout OCR athlete and a breakout hybrid athlete. Last year it was your boy who took that W. I still got the check out here. We're feeling good about it, but
On the wall.
check's on the wall. Came in the mail. Wrote it to myself.
Damn.
Yeah, we couldn't cash it. we didn't
still-
know for sure.
still
it would
waiting.
clear.
It's gonna bounce.
Still waiting on
Yeah.
still waiting on some things to come through before we cash that thing. Let's start with OCR on the men's side.
You.
Me?
Yep.
As the
'Cause I went-
OCR
As in
breakout?
I went
You're-
first last time.
you're up.
No, you
Oh.
started off.
I was
Yeah.
like, man,
You
it's,
ordered.
could be.
Yeah.
Could
A lot
be.
of OCR this year.
I have a couple names on here that I'm just going to go with Leon Kofood here. He is a name that we have known over the years, but he really put together an awesome year. Finishing, I think I have some of his stats here. He was third OCR World Champs 15K. I think he was fifth in the 3K. And FISO, he was up there on one of them.
6th in the 3K.
Sixth in the 3K. Finished fourth at Spartan Worlds. Like really asserting himself he seemed to be somebody that could pop a race if it was in his wheelhouse, right? If it was like short course, obstacle dense, but he's really shored up a lot of the things, in particular his running, and has proven that he can do these obstacle races over several different styles of racing. So I think Leon had a breakout year. I think he really ascended into a different tier of athlete this year.
Denmark is not known for their mountains or their elevation, and he won a 15K title on a mountain at 8,000 plus feet elevation
You got third
in the
right?
the 15K. Sorry, yeah, that was very unexpected.
Wait,
and he
four.
improved a
What?
ton.
You won a title?
No,
Or podium? Sorry, title.
Yeah, podium.
Third place.
It's like, wow, I really didn't pay attention to FISO.
Stand
I
corrected.
didn't even know where that was.
I didn't even know that was a 15K.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, he's my vote. I've been
You said it
I-
2 weeks ago. You were going to nominate him.
I think in July was the first time I said he's now on the he's fast tracked for most improved this year. He's just had an outstanding year, and he raced start to finish, and he never dropped off. That's very, very rare in this sport, especially as your year of ascendancy. So he's the obvious choice for me, but because I can't vote for him, I'm gonna go with Basilico. He was already good, but he came into his own as arguably the best on the planet this year. And I don't think he was in that conversation in the past. He was like fringe. His buddies would have said so, like his countrymen would have said so, but the rest of the world wouldn't have had him in their top 2 or 3. Now he is. Gregory Basilico.
Okay, we had him nominated last year, but this is another.
He
May have
elevated
taken it to
his
another level.
elevation.
This year.
Yeah, because he was 4th in Abu Dhabi in 2021. So it's
Mhm.
like for him to have done what he did last year and then even more. I agree that it's a further ascension.
Okay, cool.
Are we separating men and women or
We are.
this combined?
Yeah.
Okay. My vote, Manuel Defoe.
I had him down there. as well.
Nobody would have thought that guy was going to win the national series. Came over from Europe 4 separate times. He's 43 years old. Got his first ever podium when he was 40 years old a few years ago. And I know he got 5th in OCR Worlds in the past, and I think the 15K a couple years ago. He got 8th in Abu Dhabi last year. He won the national series this year. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And with all that international travel, and he was top 10 at Spartan Worlds again in the 3K. I think his season as a whole, no disrespect to Leon, who he beat in a couple of these races because Manuel got third in 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's almost too bad we can't give Leon most improved and give Manuel Defoe the breakout performer of the year.
Yeah.
Someone's going to go home disappointed that deserves the award.
I like
Rich,
Manuel here.
You have to break this. Okay.
I kind of like Manuel here. Like Leon, I guess if you look at it, if you think about it in the beginning of the season, who would you be more surprised if they had the year that they had? I think like Manuel would be a little bit more. Manu would
His
be a little
high
more
was
surprising.
higher.
Yeah.
If like we saw Leon race in Palm Beach, we saw him race in Mexico at the end. Like you had them come over multiple times, and obviously they both stuck around for OCR Worlds. But if you polled 100 people at the beginning of the season and said these two are coming over from Europe for the entire series, who's more likely to win the series? Most people, especially hearing that it's a 3K just based on their reputation ahead of time,
yep.
I think most people would have gone with Leon. So for him to have won the series with all that international travel, as fantastic as Leon was, I agree with Bracken where it's like most improved versus breakout. And for a breakout performer to be in their 40s, it's kind of like, oh man, imagine if this was a decade ago for you. But I can't go against him, unfortunately.
I still vote Leon in a losing battle. Manuel got his thing, and he did that one thing 4 times, and he did it spectacularly, and he deserves all the credit in the world for that. Leon did everything. We thought we knew who he was as an athlete, and he came back and made a podium in the thing that he wasn't as an athlete. So I give him most improved 10 times out of 9.
Manuel also got 3rd at OCR World Championships 3K, and Leon got 5th. If that changes anyone's mind. Anyone being Bracken.
No, it confirms what I was saying. He did the same thing. He did 3K all day, every day, and did really well at it.
That is
and did better at his thing than Leon did at his thing. But Leon did everything else really high level as well.
Yeah, maybe it's a name recognition thing with Leon versus Manuel. We just know Leon a little bit more. But I'm going Manu.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Check us in the mail.
One of the most improbable seasons I've ever seen, to be honest.
On the women's side, last year's winner was Meg Jacoby. Heard of her?
She's done okay this year.
She's done okay. That is a good sign. So this
now,
is OCR.
Are we combining?
Last year we combined.
Okay,
we're not combining. We're doing hybrid breakout next.
All right.
On the women's end, who's
Bracken
up, BK?
First and me.
I only have 2 names written down, so hopefully
I only
you guys
have
don't
one,
say.
and I hope it's Jack's. Sandy Menchie.
That was not Jack's?
No.
All right.
Took 3rd in the non-world championship 21K, the first Filipino athlete of either gender to ever make a non-world world podium. International stage is the biggest that her region has ever performed. Just like Manuel wouldn't have appeared on Vegas's odds, she wouldn't have either. And to me, she is the breakout performer of the year.
Prior to last year, when Sandy got 10th place in the Super, that was the World Championship distance last year, the highest ever finished by an athlete from Asia, not just the Philippines, was 20th.
Wow.
Sandy just got 3rd. Like it takes a while for the rest of the world to catch up. And I think that honestly, if 100-meter distance was offered, a lot of Filipino athletes would be doing work to North American athletes on a regular basis. But to come over, make the finals in the 3K a day later when everyone's beat up, I know Lindsay and Esther and everyone else, they were beat up, but Sandy was still their best racer that day in a pretty difficult conditions. So not a bad choice.
And in this case,
that's the definition of improvement right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, but like your stat was against other world championship races.
Yeah.
Like you're comparing that 21K versus like a Tahoe beast.
Finishing 22
Abu Dhabi
minutes.
2 days.
How many people finished within 22 minutes of Lindsay at World Championships? Like Nicole, Faye a couple times. There's not it. That gap, as ridiculous as it sounds, is actually pretty close at a world championship.
This
compared to
21K world championship is just like,
I know, but
it's muddying the waters. It's
Sandy
freaking
also made the
stupid.
finals. Sandy also made
Nothing
the
against
finals.
Yeah,
Sandy.
she took 7th.
Nothing
Right?
against Sandy.
Yeah.
But just this 21K
7th
for
in the
the
3K?
sake of argument. I will always push back against it. From now, when we do Okras in a decade, I'm going to be like, that 21K
Didn't count.
2023, take it out of the stats.
Well, the team race doesn't have a world championship. I looked on the results. It doesn't have dash world
Good.
championship either.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
who
a
won?
fun run.
Who showed up? People with 3 people from their country, or
Who won?
combinations of 3. Slovakia, probably.
That's a terrible guess. Jack, who you nominating here for
Ali Tippett.
strong?
Yep. 2nd place, Big Bear. 3rd place, San Luis Potosí. 6th place, Palmerton. 3 top 6 finishes, 2 podiums in the national series. Ali Tippett, I knew she definitely had a ton of potential back in the day. I think she had a couple finishes floating around 10th in the past. This was her year.
I had
She
her
found
name
her
down as well,
distance.
for sure.
Can't
Definitely-
argue that.
Definitely breaking out. Absolutely. And maybe it was that finding distance, or maybe she just pushed her chips in a little bit heavier this year. But
And she had a baby within the past year also. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if she put in extra training after that as well. Got the, what's it, the red blood cell difference, Bracken? You talk about that where women come
Baby
out
doping.
pregnancy. Baby doping.
Disqualified.
yep, you gotta,
Okay.
gotta negate points here.
Yeah.
I like it. The other name I had written down was Alyssa Petrova. And, I have her name written down for several other things down the line as well. But just the way that this was an ascension, kind of how Gregory Basilikos would be. She was already one of the best in the world, but she took it that much closer to be like the best in the world, where she finished, where is it? I have it written somewhere here. She was 2nd at Spartans. She was 4th at FISO 3K. She was 2nd in the 15K at FISO. So she had some really good results this season, where in the past she would be, if she was in the top 5 in a lot of these things, which she still was, we would be like, okay, that was a good performance. But now it's like she is one of the 2 to 3 people that could be fighting for a win. So I thought she had a really good season in terms of like where she was from.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, what are we gonna do here?
It's a tough choice because I see a lot of strong parts in Bracken's argument as well, just because of that region in Asia has never really had a dominant performance or an athlete who's been able to contend for a solid performance at a world level. So, and Sandy also won APAC championship,
And she won
regional.
APAC.
Yeah.
Who typically wins APAC?
Who
Are there
won it
Australian
last-
racers like that? Like
There,
on the men's
there
side?
are definitely some. Next year, it's in Australia. I'm trying to think who won it last year. Maybe Reika, from Japan. She ran at USC, but she's from Japan originally and moved back there. And I think Reika got 2nd this year.
When you said USC, I thought, was there another weird national championship that I didn't know?
No.
about in
University
OCR?
of Southern
I get
California.
it now.
South Carolina
Or Southern
She's
California.
a Trojan.
Yeah, Trojan.
or
Yep.
Gamecock? BK, you're switching?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Petrova.
I was gonna switch to Sandy. Now we're right back to where we were.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's
Actually.
do it. Now we're back. All right, I'm voting for Sandy.
All right.
Go for it.
Jack, what are you gonna do here?
Check in the mail. We got to send a check to every single continent. Let's go, Sandy.
Sandy gets
Yes.
it. I like it.
We've got
Hey.
Europe, North America, and Asia so far. We got to find those Antarctic racers pretty soon.
They'll be coming. On to hybrid breakout performer of the year. This is a new category, breaking out male and female. We've been doing male first. Should we keep that rolling?
Let's do it.
Jack, you're up.
Nick Riker.
Riker.
We used to make fun of the Riker line. We're just teasing him. He was still a good athlete. He learned how to race. Bracken, I had one of your favorite analogies when I said he used to be like some guy who could throw 100 miles an hour. Then he learned how to throw strikes at 100 miles an hour.
It's good
I
enough.
didn't
what
like
he is
that.
right
I
now.
was
He's
just
just-
blowing smoke.
Nah, you
didn't
said it.
like
We got YouTube comments saying it was good. But anyway, Nick Riker just elevated his game. 3rd place at DECA Fit World Championship, sitting in 2nd, reaching the burpees. So 95% of the race, he was in second place. And I know it's how he finished, but he got a podium at a world championship. We saw him take down VJ, Isaac Sanderson, several people. I mean, if you look at fantasy football, his team name is 4-2 against Rich Ryan and Deca Fit. So he's taking down the champ.
He's eating pickles this year, though.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, he sucks at football, at fantasy football, but he's really, really good at hybrid.
He only knows he only knows players that play on the Bears or have had once played on the Bears, and that's who's on his fantasy team. And
that's true.
He's not good at fantasy football. Weird.
No one's ever accused him of being a great decision maker, but he's had a great breakout year in hybrid.
And he also, you have to give him credit. A lot of athletes try to do Deca and High Rocks, and sometimes they have success in one or the other. He seemed to be, I'm going to do Deca, and I'm going to do it well. And it worked out.
But he
did
one High Rocks and did well enough to not disqualify himself from this award.
Isn't he? Yeah. He's still the Riker line in High Rocks, right? I just looked at it. It's 6502. VJ
6502.
6452. Under the Riker line.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, so he's no longer the Deca Riker line.
But
the name Riker line's so good it might stick forever, and it might just apply to a new person. You might say like Isaac is now the Riker line in Deca. Not that it's Isaac.
No,
he had like
Isaac's way better.
Finishes. Yeah.
We could.
He's just my proposal for this award. So
maybe we can tack that on to the end of the Okras, creating a new Riker line, male and female each year. I don't think we should do that.
Some people
you can only do it if it's your friend.
Yeah.
If not, it's just really rude.
Super mean. All right. Good one. I had Riker down as well. I think that this is really fair, getting to that world level podium, pushing his chips in on that, taking his time from 30-20 to 29-40 something. It really worked. It worked for him. I'm up. I'm going to nominate Bo Wills here.
Ooh.
Bo has kind of been floating around, like just the number of athletes from, again, that 5 to like 25 position in the world. It's completely a grab bag.
Who knows how it's going to end up any given race?
Any given race. Like Bo popped a really fast time last year somewhere, 58:30 something, to get himself in the Elite 15, and just had a massive breakout at Stockholm, finishing third time. I'm just throwing all times out for that race, but who cares? But he beat a bunch of really fast, good, consistent athletes to get himself into the world championship. And I was poking around at some results. He finished like 6th at world championships last year in the non-elite division, right? So from that, now finishing 3rd in what was probably one or two most competitive races this year. He has it sometimes. it seems he has it sometimes, and when he has it, it's good.
I like that submission. Marcus Wallace was one case of what do you have? Rickets?
Scurvy.
Case of rickets away from getting this award in my book. He did almost the 3 best things you can do: world championship podium in Deca, sub 60 High Rocks, and took it to me.
And beat that ass
in a workout.
Stole your RAM, come get it, snatched your chain.
Yeah, but the scurvy kept him out of High Rocks, so he didn't go sub 60. And so for me, it comes down to Sanderson or Azar, and Azar needs a vote for me. And so I'm letting World's Toughest cloud this. I don't care. That's hybrid in this moment in time. Austin Azar is so consistent across the board and everything. He just ran 60 flat with a 5-minute wall ball. Guy's going to be sub 60 very soon. He's good in everything he does. And so even though Isaac had a great breakout, Austin is just the guy now. I think in the past it was Austin does everything and he's pretty good at all of it and he's so good at carries. Now it's just like, if he shows up, you're in for a battle in any event under the sun. So I vote Austin.
Yeah, I've Austin down later in a couple categories for sure.
I don't have him for.
He's not going to win this, but I'm voting so that he's a nominee.
I would have held out for him later.
I had Isaac Sanderson down, had a good Deca season, just ran 62.
Halio. What about him?
Halio is on here. I think Graham Holiday. I think John Wynn are worth mentioning. New to the sport, finishing 5th and 6th, respectively, in High Rocks last season.
JK,
I mean, for sure.
Alphonse winning everything over at Deca Europe.
I got him on in a couple different categories.
Oh, okay.
I like Marcus Wallace. We could probably put Colin in this as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we gonna do?
I'm
Who's
going
voting
with
first?
Riker. I'm voting with my
You
heart
gotta.
and my loins.
Yeah, I know. This is like that's definitely the big time heart pull for us, giving it to old Nikki Riker. But we gave it to me last year, so
It's a breakthrough.
We could easily do it.
He's
is a
been
breakthrough.
there and he broke through. Some people have arrived this year. He broke through.
Okay.
His nickname was
Fair.
Mr. 3020s because all I'd do is run in the 3020s. And then I'm going 30, 40 seconds faster than that. So
He's like,
When you're
I'm
the
a-
Riker line, that's the definition of high-end mediocrity.
and he doesn't have
then
that
he
anymore.
moved through.
He broke
He
through
moved
it.
through. That's a breakthrough.
Great. Perfect. Nick Riker, checks in the mail. But definitely not. We're not sending you shit.
Bunch of dog doo-doo.
Bunch of dog doo-doo coming to your doorstep. On to the female. Who went first? Jack, you went first, so it's back to me.
Yep.
A lot of athletes here. I kept
This is a tough category.
Yeah, I kept thinking and writing down more and like looking at results and like, oh yeah, this person could be, this person could be. So I have 5 names written down.
Come on, guys, get it together.
Yeah, just only one, just like Bracken does.
Yeah,
I only have one written down for this category.
One
How about
plus
that?
one plus one plus one.
Well, I hope I get it. I hope I nail it right from the start.
You probably
I'm going to
will.
nominate Belle McFarlane here.
Ooh.
This was one I almost forgot about because of her choice to
Mhm.
lean more into doubles and not doing the individual as seriously this year. But last year she went from like a 67 to like a 64 to finishing 3rd in the world, right? Basically in half of a year. So that was more of an emergence, like less than the breakthrough, how we talked about last time. But she was someone that we just had no idea of who this was. And she improved her performance incredibly and is obviously an awesome competitor to finish 3rd at the world. So that's who I have.
I did forget about her because in my mind, Hyrox World Championship is last year. It screws with me how they have
even
that
though
spring.
it was 6 months ago. Or
Yeah,
7.
it screws with me. And so I didn't have her. I have Camilla Massa.
Great. I had her as well.
She has to be in the conversation at least because she's gotten better across the board at everything. And she went from this woman who were like, she has potential here to now she's potentially winning world championships.
She's filling it. Yeah, she's filling
She
it.
She wasn't even in the Elite 15 last year.
For sure. And now she's going to be in every single. She has an auto qualifier.
With a broken hand.
With a broken hand, yeah, finishing 5th with a broken hand, which is crazy. Broken like pinky or whatever, but still had to get surgery on that thing.
And she's racing while acting the part. She's not hanging around the fringes and hoping to get lucky. She's acting the part. She clearly believes she belongs there, and she's just doing it. And for some reason, that matters a lot to me.
I like it. And if we go through someone who's been there and breaking through, she meets that criteria quite a bit, the way Riker did as well.
She probably was the Riker line last year.
I think it's fair. I mean, she was the top individual outside of the Elite 15 at Worlds. So she's like,
sounds like the Riker line.
Riker's not that good.
Deca last year, he was probably the top of the non-contenders.
Probably.
I think most improved, if you have that potential, we all see it, and then you do it, you're the most improved.
Who do you got, Jack?
Lauren Griffith.
So good one.
62-42 or something this past weekend.
Something crazy.
She won by a couple minutes.
And that wasn't a fast course. Again, people with Hyrox, it's like, I don't buy this time because this and that. But like, it's either
see other people on the course.
It's however you want to do it too. It's like I'm going to determine that this course was fast because I don't like the results, or I'm going to determine it was slow because I don't like the results. It's both ways.
Yeah.
I forgot to nominate Hyrox for Goofy Games.
It's not just what she did in Hyrox. Like, she's running the 64s before in Hyrox this year, but taking it up 2 minutes. But I was just impressed in person watching her at Deca Fit World Championships, Deca Mile World Championships. She was in the slow heat for Deca Strong, so we didn't really get to see her.
But she was 3rd and 2nd,
3 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Really solid.
Yeah. And she was just assertive and races confidently. And I know that she had a couple 7th places for or made the finals in Spartan 3K. So we were like, okay, she's having a good year overall. But I think like a bunch of other athletes, she just found that hybrid fit her skill set better. and I think that she's going to have a heck of a championship season later this year or next year with both DECA World Championships and High Rocks. I think she put herself on the map running that 62.
She has to be considered as a podium threat in any major that she gets into, and potentially at Worlds.
Yeah. 62. We just don't see that very often.
No. On a regular ass course.
Your hand. Who's done it? Like
she's top 5 in the world immediately by doing that.
Yeah. Lauren, Meg, Michaela, Linda.
Yep.
Kind of it.
Like on a non-championship course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in general, right? Yeah. I think
period. I think
at all.
I mean, you could have Tafuto.
Right. That was the World Championship like a year ago. Yeah. Vivian was who I was torn between, but she also podiumed at Worlds. Or no, she got 4th. Never mind.
She got 4th. She got 4th at DECA, then 4th at Chicago.
Yeah.
She got that Delory line locked. I also had Morgan down. Morgan Shell's on here as well.
I think she'll get it next year, honestly.
It doesn't get much better than world champion.
Yeah.
Right, but I think she's going to put together a body of work next year.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see.
She also came back from some time off competing, so that's just that's hard to do.
Yeah, came back better. I like Camilla here for the same reasons that we talked about. Just like has been here, where like Belle is out of nowhere, Lauren's essentially out of nowhere. Like we don't have too much history with her in previous years. She's obviously getting better throughout each race as we go, but Camilla, as we saw, like going from 70 plus to like consistently just like chipping away, and now is a real threat in any race she comes into.
Mm-hmm.
My only question on that, and I'd have to look up the results. How did Camilla versus Lauren do head to head this year at DECA World Championship?
Camilla beat her in strong, and
Lauren beat her in the other two.
Yep,
Lauren beat her in the other two, and she has a faster High Rocks time.
Right, but like if I'm looking at
that, not more improved?
That's a better year.
It's a better year, but we don't know. But like we said with Riker, it's like we saw the improvement, the breakout. That's what I'm leaning on for this one. Not who's a better athlete.
I'm going head to head because Lauren was not on the map last year.
Yeah, she was.
Was she even in any races? That's what I'm saying. I don't even remember seeing her in any race. So like it depends on how you want to.
Yeah,
it's hard to weight growth when you didn't know what she could do.
Right.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
No, definitely not.
Anyone who gets nominated here deserves an Okra, and maybe they should get a piece of Okra from us.
Send it out some Okra.
They'll get the actual vegetable. The real winners are going to get the.
If they can identify what an Okra is, we'll send some.
Go buy one, and then bill us.
Yeah, fry it up.
And the check's in the mail to pay you back. So,
BK, who you got?
Camilla.
All right.
I'm fine if you go with Camilla.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think it's Lauren, but I'm fine with that.
That's why we're doing this here. 2-1. You lose.
Okra is pretty similar to what I thought it would look like.
Kind of looks like a little green piece of bamboo, right?
You ever had some fried okra?
Yeah, delicious.
No.
Anything fried, really.
Yeah.
I think by itself is probably really bad. It's like a root, right?
I've never had it other than fried.
No.
Spent 1 year in the South. That was enough.
Yeah.
Had some hush puppies, some fried okra, collard greens, sweet tea.
Grits.
Hush puppies
got in on grits, but biscuits and gravy became my world.
Mm. What a great
You probably
concept.
needed that. How much you weighed at that time, but
that was all that was keeping me held together was gravy.
I love the hush puppies are just like fried bread. It's like it's brilliant. It's amazing. It's like this is awesome already, but what if we just like fry that thing? It's like, yeah, it's delicious. We're going International Athlete of the Year, OCR. That's where we're at. Last year, Richard Heineck took the Okra on the men's side. Esther Hortabagyova took it on the women's.
Is this me?
BK, you're up.
it is.
Gregory Basilico. I don't think that there's. I mean, there are some arguments for
There's
other men,
debate. There's debate.
but across the board, he just wins about everything. And so he's just the best. He's the most impressive looking OCR runner I've ever seen, I think. And we're living in approaching his prime. I can't vote for anyone but him.
You saw some of the early days of like Hobie and Cody and Albin. Is he a better runner?
He's a prettier runner. And it's really hard to judge on terrain how fast people are
Yeah.
really going.
Mhm.
The thing is, you have Atkins in the picture for everyone, so you can kind of sort of compare.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look back, anytime they got on runnable courses, those guys outran Ryan back in the day. But Ryan's a better runner now as well. So it's really hard to say who's better. I have firsthand knowledge that Cody Moat was running sub 5 on trails in races and low
That's
fives
insane.
throughout the race. Hobie Call, his marathon, when he came to OCR, his marathon pace was 5:02. His threshold pace was like 5:13. No, it was faster than that. It was like 4:48 or something.
Yeah.
Like he could hold 5:13 to 5:20 on any terrain I'd ever seen. So how much faster than that is this guy? I don't know, but he's in that league. And I would say he's faster through rigs than any of those guys were. He may not be.
He struggled.
That's his hang up.
He lost. He fell off of
I
beater
didn't say he's
Twister
better.
last year, and he almost failed this year if he didn't grab above the notch.
I didn't say he's better than them on it, but he can move faster. We saw him swinging through rigs with abandon that Hobie never really did. Hobie just kind of glided through everything. Cody never did anything impressive on rigs. So he just visually looks better than they used to look. Prime Hobie looked about as fast as it gets. My point is, I can't call it, and I saw them in person. He's that fast.
He grabbed above the knot. What do you mean? He grabbed like the big
You know how
pipe?
the thin rope, yeah, where it attaches. The
Oh,
part
I
that
thought
they
you meant
allow
on-
you to.
I thought you meant on Twister. I was like, what?
He's improving his game every time we see him.
Yeah, he won Trifecta Worlds.
One Trifecta Worlds got second in the fake championship.
And we sent the 2 best people from North America we could think of in a trifecta. We sent Rylan and Ryan.
It's a good win.
It's a very
That's
good
true.
win.
It's a good win for sure. I think that's what's going to come down. What that's going to come down to here is comparing the wins, because he doesn't have a ton of wins this year. He has the
No,
trifecta.
he does.
Well, what
Like
what-
local races, yeah,
local races, but
he's
like
been dominant. Yeah.
did so is that like regional championships as well?
No, he didn't go to any of the 3K races.
Right. So here's a trifecta. I mean, I think he's probably
But,
the best, but who
yeah,
had the best
Europe-
year? We can figure that. We can kick that around.
Europe's championship was a 3K, but the European series, they consolidated it, was the normal distances. I'd have to look up specifics on that. But he raced several times throughout the year. It very well could have won one of those.
Yeah, I'm sure.
One of those regional or national series style races.
Jack, who you got?
I'm going to mention him again, John Maria Savani. Get first place against a highly international field at FISO 3K. Second place in the 14K the next day, taking down pretty much everybody again. And then he ends
Who won
up
that one?
Igor.
Igor Belisov.
Igor.
Who previously had a second place at OCR Worlds in a race with VJ and
And he got
Kempson, a
fourth
bunch of-
at OCR World Championships this year.
this year. Yeah. And then John ended up getting 9th in Abu Dhabi in the 3K.
I had him as well.
Did I just lose?
And no, I had him as one of. I had Gregory
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
I also had. I nominated Leon here. I nominated Manuel here. I think they both had really good years. It's gonna be hard to top those two because of the wins. But Manuel with his Spartan Series win, National Series win, it's pretty good. And then I did have Igor Belisov here as well for that first in the 15K FISO and fourth at OCR WC 15K.
I think those 3 had better overall years. Only 2 people won world titles. And only one of them is just the best. Like if you had to take someone as who's the best.
But who had the best year?
Yeah.
I agree. Like Gregory, if we
Is
were
this
drafting
athlete of the year or athlete ability level?
athlete of the year. That's why I think it's interesting. Like now, if we have to compare, it's like the trifecta win is probably better than the FISO 3K.
Probably equal to
Is-
Spartan 3K series.
Probably better than the series.
Yeah, in that, yeah, Defoe didn't win any of them. He won the series.
He went to all of them.
He went to all,
He
and
made
he
it-
did. He
But
was the
he did
second
what
best at
Atkins
all of them.
does, and he podiumed at all of them, which we reward him for his consistency.
Long
against-
term, yes, but at the time, had the Okras come out every year, it would have been someone but him most years.
Yeah,
In the first year, this was
Ma-
this weird 3K format. Like, not everybody was bought in.
Yeah.
Not to, like, if you want to put it, if you want to rank them, this Spartan National Series probably ranks pretty lower than most.
but he did do flat course at altitude, flat course on sand, mountain course,
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
just
traveling over the like
did great.
Abu Dhabi sand. Yeah, it's diverse.
So I'm sticking with Gregory. Who do you guys got?
Rich,
I think I'll go Basilico as well.
You going, John?
I'll go Basilico also. I think that if he hit that spear throw, he was going to beat Atkins in dominating fashion in a race that Atkins cared a lot about.
Yeah, John was that was who was between, but yeah, I mean Basilico is the best, and his year wasn't. It's arguable in the year, so
John deserves a side of Okra on us, though.
some Okra
He already got
shavings.
one.
Two sides.
Two sides of it.
Double.
Okay.
Yeah. You get leftovers.
On the women, International Athlete of the Year, OCR. Who's up? Me?
Me, I think.
Jack.
Jack's up.
I know you want to nominate her, Rich.
Who?
I'll go Esther. I don't know how you can't. She's got the most all-time wins in Spartan history. Second place trifecta world championship. The only athlete that she lost to is not eligible for this international category. She won the beast. She got third
Why?
place in the 3K
Why is Lindsay not eligible?
international because we're doing like North American athlete for the other category.
Oh, intercontinental athlete is what we labeled this. Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's how I
Yeah.
interpreted it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I would have,
That's
changed
how,
the
we,
rules.
that's how we roll here.
It does
Yep.
change my order then. I'm glad you went first because I would have looked like an absolute tool saying Lindsay.
Come on, bro.
Damn.
Come on,
No,
dog.
Canada's the same.
Duh.
But yeah, if you look at a start list at this point and you're like, who's the best international athlete in the field on the women's side? I don't care who's there. You're saying Esther. What distance it is, you're gonna go Esther. She's the name that comes to mind every single time. Just like if it's a short course, 3K, yes, he won all of them. But you'd probably be like VJ is the man to beat. Esther is the woman to beat if it's a race involving international athletes at this point.
Rich?
Can't disagree with that, but I am going to nominate Alyssa Petrova here.
Yeah.
After second place at Spartan, fourth place at FISO 3K, second place at FISO 15K. I think that the accomplishments stack up even a little bit better than Esther's. I mean, Esther has that fake beast win, but after that, I mean, Alyssa beat her head up at the 3K World Championships.
How funny that this whole year we've been like, oh, it's the year of the 3K, and now there's a world title in the beast, and it's like, no, it's not a world title. Like we just can't get things on the same page this year.
Not a world title. Stupid. I don't know why they did that. Confusing people. Screwing with the records.
Well, those are 1-2 on my list. And so I'm going to go in who is the most important to their region in terms of stepping it forward and historical context. And so I'll say Sandy again. Go with Ms. Menchie. I love that name. I know it's only like the middle name or whatever, but she's always going to be Sandy Menchie to me.
Nice.
And so I'm sticking there. Even though Esther was my number one, Petrova was my number two, Sandy Menchie is first in my heart.
So your actual vote is for
Well, I can't double vote, so I'm voting Sandy Menchie.
I also had Ida down here because she won that FISO 3K and was fourth at Spartan Worlds. Like, pretty good
And
year. Beat Nicole
several
in that 3K.
podiums in the national series coming over from Europe.
Great year.
Yeah, really good year. I think all these kind of stack up really well against each other, and then we have to compare the wins, right? I mean, I know Jack wants to be like, but Esther beat Lindsay
The trump
from,
card.
from segment. Well, from that. Be,
No, it's not segment. Yeah,
in
from the
segment
segment of
2K
from the
to
segment of the start
4K.
line to the finish line, she won
That's
twice.
That's winning
Not twice.
semifinals.
Yes, won the semifinals.
All right, I think you do have a strong argument with Elisa because of her FISO doing well on a non-Spartan course
Mm-hmm.
and beating Esther head to head in the only race that Elisa participated in this weekend.
And all of Esther's accomplishments were in just Spartan, right? So we don't even know how she would do in a course like a FISO.
Well, she's done other, European OCR championships with hard rigs and stuff in the past. But yeah,
How is she doing
she's a Spartan athlete at this point. She's
more of a
podiumed
Spartan
and won.
athlete.
Yeah, she's good.
Has Lisa won anything yet today?
No.
Just give it to her.
I'm changing my vote. Petrova.
She had a great
Lisa
year.
Petrova.
She did.
There you go.
Body of work.
Was ahead of Lindsay between the second lap and third lap. So she probably crossed the line that we could look at and be like,
from the start until some point in the third lap right there. Yeah,
exactly. So same as that.
I watched the race.
Esther Spartan.
She crossed Tiny
trifecta
Mats out of her.
If
Definitely.
if Rich actually watched the Beast, he might have changed his mind.
She's dumping out
didn't.
sand.
Yeah,
Just opening it up, dumping it out, running, shuffling
making a
along.
sandcastle. That's what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, making a sandcastle. No, I don't give points for that. No chance.
All right, Elisa. There we go.
At least takes that W. All right, new category, international hybrid athlete. We have, for sticking around, we have 1, 2, 4 more categories to go through. We have international, all-around season, hybrid athlete, and OCR athlete of the year.
Start cranking.
We're doing great. We've been way over. We were like 2.5 hours last week. That's too much.
We're prepared to do that again at this point.
That's too much. These are the Okras.
Yeah.
I got this suit on. I'm gonna wear this. I mean, I'm gonna take it off as soon as we're done.
Same
I'm
here.
picking the kids up from school in this today.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
With the
pull up in
joggers.
the van.
Did you see Mr. Crocker today? All right.
I'm not Mr. Crocker. I'm Ayla's dad.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, then what did I say? We're doing international hybrid athlete of the year on the men's side. Am I up?
Yes.
Alphonse de Ruiz.
Ooh.
Got to show love. Elite 15 qualifier in the 2 majors this year. Hasn't fared particularly well, but undefeated in DECA. He's that dude in DECA over there. They don't have a ton of opportunities to be outside of High Rocks, but there's more hybrid racing than just High Rocks. And when it comes to the short course, it's Alphonse.
And he whooped some of the top High Rocks athletes who tried DECA.
Killed him.
Same exact course, and you whoop them. That matters to me.
It's got to matter something, right? Like he did not lose in a DECA, right?
Matters.
No, 3-0.
3-0.
And I get it. You two are joined at the tip. That's fine. But for
Rich is
me,
gonna keep his check if he gets it.
it's Ronk Daddy.
Got to go Ronco.
Probably the first person who's referred to him as that. But
Ronco.
He's just the best High Rocks athlete on the planet, not named Hunter or Ryan Kent. And he's been getting Ryan Kent sometimes.
Yeah.
And he
totally.
almost got Hunter, and he put up the 3rd best time ever?
Yes.
Second best performer, 3rd best time.
Third fastest time. Yes, exactly.
And the closest to Hunter being pushed in years. So to me, Ronk Daddy.
Ronco. He's European champ in Maastricht last season, but still this year. Second at Worlds. Yeah, 54-minute and change. Finished on the podium in both of the majors this season. He's just that guy.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the environment or circumstance turns out to be. He's just performing. But to me, that's one of the surest signs of greatness is that no matter what's going on around you, you show up.
Jack, I struggle with this third one.
It really is. I don't think that this person's going to win. But if you're talking about consistency, Tobias Ludfine got 3rd place. Outkicked Ryan Kent on the wall balls, if that's such a thing. There aren't too many international hybrid athletes who have a podium at a world championship this past year. He's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. I also had Sandy written down, Michael Sandbach, for
I was thinking Pelayo because of some of his team records, and he
does he count? He lives in Chicago.
I know, but from Spain initially, right?
And my ancestors are from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. You know?
We're checking passports here.
Yeah. Pelayo, maybe he could have been Breakout as well. But yeah, I had Sandy finish 3rd Europeans and at North Americans last year. Had kind of a tough end to the year, but just ran.
Could have a double Sandy win. Sandy
that?
Menchie, Michael Sambach.
Oh, no.
My parents' dog is named Sandy downstairs right now. So
Great.
bunch of Sandy.
What kind of dog?
A Morkie, a Maltese Yorkie.
Lovely. Small, friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to go Ronco here.
Yeah. You have to.
BK?
Say his name.
Alex.
Give it to him.
Wrong daddy.
Wrong daddy. On to the
Richie,
women.
are you going to be there to give him the check in person?
I'll give it to him. I'll go to his house in Vienna. Just knock on his
'cause
door.
He's there. Yeah.
Right. He lives right there. I'll hand him that piece of okra. Bring it
There you
from,
go.
I don't know. Or maybe, no, I thought my layover was like in Charlotte or something. It's not. But if it was, I can get some like straight up Southern okra. Bring it out
That'd be
there.
hilarious.
On to the women. Who's up? I'm not up. BK's up.
Rocking.
Linda
Had a hard
Meyer,
time. Nice.
always and forever this year. She's the next woman up behind the two titans at the top. She's back. She's on her game. She's improving steadily this year. She could be comeback athlete of the year. She could be international athlete of the year. She could be most likely to be called by an actress's name by me during a broadcast.
Definitely
Doesn't
wins
really
that.
matter. She wins them all.
Mm-hmm.
She gets my vote.
I like it. Jack?
Yeah. This is another difficult one because if you look at High Rocks World Championships last year, you had Lauren, Meg, Belle McFarlane, and Vivian finishing on the top four.
Right.
So it's like they didn't really do work. You look at Deco World Championships, not too much international representation.
Nope.
Qualifier, though.
What was that?
Got a qualifier.
I know. So is Camilla at this point? Like she lives in the U.S.
Citizenship.
Clearly Italy.
Yeah, I
Like-
didn't even think about that. Maybe, I guess.
I'm just
What's her
if
flag
not,
say?
I think
Look it up.
it has an Italy next to it.
It might have an Italy
It
next
has
to it.
an Italy next to it.
I think it has
An
Italy
Italian
next to it.
flag. Yeah.
That's what counts. They had a couple guys that I coach had a British flag next to them in like High Rocks Dallas, but I don't know
Yeah.
if they qualify. They're not. They live in like New Jersey.
Yeah. Nice try. Yeah, I'm gonna go Camilla because
She does have
From
the
Italy?
Italian flag next to it in the major
There we go. She
qualifier.
There
has
we
an
go.
Italy.
and we've discussed her in depth already this year.
Okay, I'll allow it. I like it. I got Michaela Norman here. I mean, she was North American champ in High Rocks, second place at European champ, undefeated in DECA. I think this is a no-brainer. She is the best, and she also has the best resume.
She's
Well,
gotta
I'm
win.
obviously hopping over to her, but I just wanted Linda to get a
I had
nomination.
Linda down. I struggled to find a third. I had Miriam down for third, but she doesn't like when you look at the body of work, it's not.
just
It's
too
just
many
that-
burpees.
Yeah, you have to look at DECA like as the alternate because nobody has done well at Worlds. Like just
Right.
you have Megan Lawrence stealing podiums and it just doesn't help. But yeah, Michaela is the one to beat whenever you think of Europeans.
Lock it in.
Locked in. Congrats to our nominees.
Get that woman some okra.
Best overall season.
Me?
Yes.
Largest range is something that we talk about here. That was like how we
Alright.
had it. Last year, Rylan Shadag took the win. Chris Rogloski took the win on the women's side.
So I'd like to call out that I did mention this. I posed the question to the group in maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago if Austin Azar has the best range out of anybody after he did his High Rocks. I was early on the train right there and won World's Toughest Mudder and he goes 60 and change at High Rocks this past weekend a month later. How many people on the planet can do that right now? Does well at Goofy Games.
Got that Grit Games W.
It's hard to argue against Austin Azar right now.
He had a great year. He really did. He's been floating around 60 for a couple shots at High Rocks. He does his freaking lunges in like 250, then wall balls in 5. So he's like right
Might blow him
there.
out a little bit. Yeah.
Right
Maybe
there.
go 310 and then save something for the wall balls.
He's a beast.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. Am I up?
Rich. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Gonna hit Rylan Shadag here. Won it last year, doubled back, and we didn't see him do very many long course OCR events, but he had an OCR World Championship in that 3K and 2 DecaFit World Championships. There's a hybrid racing and an obstacle racing championship
Trifecta
all
Worlds.
in 1 year. And second at Trifecta Worlds. True, that is a long one. Great. So just adds to my argument. So good year. Lots of stuff.
Those are the top 2 clear choices.
Okay. Nominated third.
Someone rocking. Yeah.
Ryan Atkins. I mean, it sounds funny, and then you start to look at what he's done this year. He punched a UTMB qualifier in an ultra, took to the trails, and just reestablished the fact that he is a national level ultra runner on the trails, and then came back to the sport with an entirely different morphology and took second in the first 3K, and then got it back together and finished third in the trifecta and won the 21K Is It Not a World Championship, and took third in the 3K. So across the board, he did everything that those guys did. His ultra just wasn't OCR.
Here's a better choice from Canada, Isaac Sanderson.
I had Isaac down. Yeah.
Got 7th place in Deca Strong, I believe, and ran 90 miles at World's Toughest Mudder a couple weeks before that. I think you have the wrong Canadian right there for best current range.
Not the best choice. Atkins was better at every single one of those things.
Did he do it though?
Yeah. World Championship podium, almost World Championship title. Finished higher than 7th in his ultra.
Yeah, he's going to win head to head, but he didn't do an ultra OCR. And we're talking
correct.
Oh, I guess Ryland didn't either, but
I'm saying all of his other highlights were higher than Sanderson. Sanderson had a great year. He might as well be breakout performer of the year, not taking anything away from him. I just don't think he's better at any one thing than Ryan. I think Ryan does every one of his things better. Isaac might beat him in a high rocks and a Deca right now. But I think Atkins gets farther than 90 at World's Toughest and beats him at all the others. So either one is right, I guess, and neither one is the best. It's either Rylan or Austin right now.
I also had VJ on here. He tried a couple different things. World Championship in the 3K, DecaFit, top 5, ran at High Rocks.
If he did better at High Rocks, that could have been arguable.
He's just spanning. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Showing
I think it's a 2-man race, though, with a bunch of other candidates.
Yeah.
All right. Austin, World's Toughest Mudder, world champion in a field without the previous champion. Who won before DJ?
Not Mark, Tyler, Batras, right?
Batras wasn't in. No Atkins, no Gaudette. Tyler didn't have a good one. Mendoza was there, didn't have a good one. But they were still there. Yeah, Psychos didn't have a good race. Good field, but open field. But definitely.
So between he and Rylan, they both have world championships this year.
Rylan had 2.
Rylan had 2, but it was the same kind of thing.
Rylan's PR is 5 minutes faster in High Rocks.
Yeah, right. Rylan had a 55-minute.
Rylan's better everything along the way, and then it stops at sub ultra in terms of what he's done. And then there's this massive gap up to 100 miles where Austin can claim to be better at all of them because we haven't seen Rylan do one. If there was an in-between distance, if there was a Spartan Ultra World Championship this year, Rylan would be one of the favorites.
You mean
Austin would not be.
In July?
Like that we've had already this year, this current year that we're going off of.
Yeah.
Rylan would be a favorite. Austin would not be. However, he hasn't done it yet. And so in terms of pure range and best overall, I'm going to go Austin.
Rylan
has a Goofy Games win too. He won that.
Rylan's done it in Deca, High Rocks, Goofy Games. So they both have Goofy Games, and he's done it on the trails at 3K through Beast.
Listen, Rylan was my choice on paper. He was the number one I had written down, but I'm voting with my heart here. What else is Austin going to win?
It's not how it works.
So I'm voting Austin. And Rylan probably deserves it.
Jack?
So we're tied. So do I go with my nominee? I think if you look and you're like, who's going to do best no matter what race it is, if that person's going to win 6 of the 7 event types, you got to go with them. It's got to be Rylan.
And justice was served.
Second year in a row, Rylan Shadag takes best all-around season.
There's nothing wrong with like having that person win multiple years in a row. Like,
no.
Yeah. No disrespect to Austin. I nominated him, but talked myself into.
Prior to High Rocks, Atkins would have won every single year.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Except for early on where Cody would have won the first 1 or 2.
But now we got all these different events, goofy games left and right.
Rylan could conceivably, by the time next year ends, be a Deca, High Rocks, Spartan, and Ultra World Champion. He won't be most likely, but he could.
The Ultra thing, we just don't know.
He could win Morzine.
We just have no idea.
No clue.
Maybe he's not. Maybe that's not his jam.
Maybe that's the thing he's best at.
But maybe it's the thing he's best at.
I think they're only paying top 5 there, so I don't know if it's worth.
Is it and it's a 50K, right? It's a thing.
50K.
It's an ultra.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. KBB. That's him. He is him.
Probably.
All right. Female, am I up? Did I get to go first?
You're up.
Great, because I only have one name written down. And that's Chris Rogloski. World's Toughest Mudder champ 2 years in a row. Did not repeat as High Rocks World Champion, but was top 10. Top 10 in various Decafit races as well. Won a Spartan 3K. What else did she do?
Ran her mouth a bunch.
Just talk that talk. Letting BK know. But that's all. Chris Rogloski.
There are not a lot of women that do the hybrid at a high level and go in on OCR.
Almost none. I guess Viola, she does some OCR at like a middling level. Like she's pretty good.
We have a couple who are pretty decent at both, but we don't have people who are contending for world
like Jezebel
podiums or
Kramer
titles.
used to. She hasn't done a High Rock or a Spartan this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Chris. So next options are either taking people who are like top 5 to 10 at each or going at people who just have huge range in their sport. And so I will go Lindsay because she won 3K through 21K and trifecta world. She has the best range without touching hybrid in the sport. So to me, she's the next obvious choice.
Okay. I accept.
Yep. And the only other one that I can think of would be Lauren Weeks at this point, where she won a High Rocks World Championship, won Rally in the Valley Goofy Games, made the finals in the 3K at Palmerton. Didn't really race a whole lot otherwise. It's Chris. There just isn't as much crossover. And even if there was, I don't think Chris is losing this.
Because she does it so well. That's the thing. It's not like she's just like showing up and doing all this stuff. She shows up and like is a threat to win. Maybe less so in the hybrid space in now that things are a little bit more specialized, but she just ran 64 minutes, which is a PR for her. So she's still like getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. The past 3 weeks, she put in a little training block and improved by several minutes.
Like I worked really hard at this.
I wasn't
in
those
shape before.
Those
3 data points. Won a 3K race, 64-minute High Rocks, World's Toughest Mudder.
Right.
That's all you need to know.
Right.
So I'll choose Lindsay because I refuse to vote for Chris.
Chris Rogloski, second year in a row.
What if I go with Lindsay?
Oh man.
I'm going Chris.
Chris would just get what she deserves.
Yeah.
I wish I don't have the records here for the first ever Okras. That's lost in time. We'll have to go back and listen.
Someone tell us. If someone wants to listen and write down it in the comments, we'll be appreciated.
Ian, get on that.
Yeah. All right, on to Hybrid Athlete of the Year. Last 2 awards, Hybrid and OCR Athlete of the Year. Starting on the men's side, Hybrid Athlete of the Year, BK, who are you nominating?
I'm going to do the cheap, lazy route and let you guys be like real journalists on this. Hunter McIntyre. He just doesn't lose when he does a hybrid event. And he doesn't branch out, and that's the big knock on him. And yet we all have just kind of acknowledged Deca's his when he wants it.
Yeah.
All these hybrid goofy games are probably his if he wants it. He's just so much better than everyone that at anything he tries that I have to give it to him. And you guys will give the real deserving people with your votes.
He doesn't
So
have
I'm
a
happy
team
with that.
record.
Doesn't have a team record.
That's the biggest knock. It keeps trying. That doubles record is just too far out of reach. Too far out of reach.
Whoever
man.
has that must be fast. Fast.
Good at stations too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he set 2 world records in this year. He's had a High Rocks World Championship. That was his 3rd, I believe. So, just kind of like a whatever kind of year, and a major championship at Stockholm.
His are highlights.
Yeah.
Can't do body of work. It's just highlights.
Right. Jack, who are you gonna nominate here?
Got to go Rylan Shattuck. 2 world titles, Deca Fit, Deca Mile, record holder in the 3rd event, Deca Strong, and he is the #1 seed currently on High Rocks' website for the leaderboard for the.
It's the way that they write their
stupid
leaderboard thing is so stupid.
Yeah, but he got 2nd place running a sub 56 in his 3rd career, and he won
4th
in Madrid. 4th career, yeah, and he won Madrid like just before that. But you don't run 55 and change on accident. And he's stepped into the Deca arena. Not too many people have, who have, like a Kent and a few others, who have put up a time in that sub 56 range.
For sure. Yeah, setting 2 Deca world records this year. They got to do something about those world records. They just can't be done at, like, even though that's like
Local
a legit
gyms.
gym event and a gym that cares a lot about Deca, they just set it up so perfectly
So compact.
that it's like, okay, whatever. And now, the PB Extremes can count. He didn't use PB Extreme on these. These were legit concept too.
PB Extreme can count now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anything you want. They gotta do something about these
Yeah.
Everybody gets a world record. That was something that for High Rocks world records. How many people have a High Rocks world record, do you think? Like 40?
Do they have the world
60?
record for most people with world record?
They probably do. Everybody gets a world record. Who wants one?
Yeah.
I got 2. All right. I'll nominate Ryan Kent and Alex Ronco. Ronk Daddy here.
Can't do that.
Not allowed.
Who are you bracking?
Doing it. I'm sitting on the
Nope.
fence.
Nope. Got to choose one.
Can't.
You can't tear their check in half and mail half of it.
I support this.
I'm leaning
I
on.
like
I'm
it.
going BK here. Well, talking about Ronkovic, talked about him before. European champion. He was the European Okra or international Okra winner. He's European champ, 2nd at Worlds, ran 54 minutes. Ryan Kent won the major in Chicago, beating Ronkovic. Couple of podium finishes in Deca Fit. But I mean, if we're gonna talk about best hybrid athletes in the world, got to mention them both.
Yeah, it's Ryan Kent, I think, over Ronco. I think that they're probably equivalent in terms of championship performances in High Rocks, but Kent is top 2 in Deca.
Let's look at this past year, though.
And Ronkovic is not.
This the numbers
Rocks
stack
Worlds.
up well for Kent here.
For Kent, High Rocks Worlds, Kent misses the podium.
Got 4th.
Alex gets 2nd. And then
You're
Kent didn't have a good Deca World Championship.
Ronco won the European Championship. Kent was like 7th or 8th at North American Championship. He's had a bad
Ronco
race.
has
Yeah,
one stream
and I
of
take that
income.
back.
Kent has 2.
He did have a good Deca Championship with strong and mile podiums, but compared to what he was expecting. Yeah.
Right. If he was completely healthy there, it would have been a different outcome for sure.
Yeah.
But those are the races that were run. Like his best performance is the Chicago major win. And you got to take second place at Worlds is like a better.
Yeah. I would say that for the year, he was as good or better at High Rocks as Ronkovic was. I mean, at Deca as Ronkovic was at High Rocks. But the fact that he has both gives him the leg up clearly. I think the real argument is who is better, Rylan or Kent. And because they're kind of the same in terms of career highlights and times. And Rylan just had the better year so far with podiums. So I think he gets it. But I think
paper,
Kent
I agree.
I think Kent outpaces Ronkovic just because of Deca.
Kent in his career has a 2nd in Deca Strong, right? And then 1st in mile and fit. And
Career?
Rylan has Yeah,
He won. Kent won Deca Strong last year and Mile.
I know.
And
So he
was-
has 2 1s and a 2. He got second in Deca Fit.
Yeah.
To you.
Yep. Mhm.
And then Rylan has 1 1 2 now. So they're basically a wash there. You can't, unless you rate Fit a little more than Strong, for instance. But they're both 1 1 2. And then Kent narrowly beat him head to head. But if we're going this year only, you can make a pretty strong argument that Ryland, who has the record in all 3 events, granted they're at local gyms, has
And
had
2
a
world
better,
championships. Yeah.
has had a better year with the world
Slightly
championships.
better.
Yes.
But I think
agree.
it's closer than we probably expected off the jump. I think they are the number 1 and 2 guys in hybrid in the world right now.
Well, I'm voting
As long
for
as
Hunter.
Hunter
That being
doesn't
said, Hunter
do
wins,
Deca.
right?
Yeah, but Hunter wins. Do we agree?
You gotta.
Yeah, this is not a second place Okra award.
I think honestly next year, if Hunter doesn't do a Deca, like he'll probably, if he wins like all the majors and stuff going on, then okay, you have a pretty strong
It's
argument.
gonna be the same spot again next year.
Yeah, he's not gonna do a Deca. But Deca's just gonna lose. Like Deca's is not gonna gain importance. I think it's just gonna lose importance. If I was to project,
Yeah.
Get an
I
athlete.
think. What if you start having more Europeans do it?
Then I think it would help.
I think it's the downside of the championship weekend is the titles mean a little less. Two titles in one weekend matter a little less than winning them at 2 different points in the year.
Mm-hmm.
So Hunter's big wins matter a little more than some big Decas. I don't know if there's a easy fix to this, but the easy fix is he just does a Deca and we can stop arguing.
Right. But until then, he'll still win no matter what. The second straight year as hybrid winner here.
It's a shame he wasn't in Chicago.
He's the only athlete on this entire list that we can do the threat of him in another event gives him like supremacy because his threat is so strong and inactionable.
I wonder if he's ever done like a Deca for fun, like just like at his house.
He went 11:59 at Spartan Games. He broke 12 when we were like, "Oh, that's never gonna get beaten." And
Right.
That's
true.
Changed. Granted, it was on like
he should just do one, just to like throw a middle finger up to all the athletes. that would seem like something he'd be in on.
A good stronger mile course, and then just.
Ryland doesn't talk trash. That's the thing, and I think the two of them, their battle will be a lot closer than you realize in some of these events.
For sure. On to women. Who's up?
Me.
Jack, I believe.
Me?
I think BK nominated.
Yeah, go for it, Jack.
It's so hard because a lot's changed the past month or so.
It's within the year.
I think you have an argument that Megan Jacoby is the best hybrid female athlete of this past year, even though she didn't win High Rocks Worlds. She has the world record. She skipped 59 altogether on her way to getting it. First ever sub 60 in this past year, got second at Worlds, and has won the past 2 majors. Record holder in Deca Fit. I don't know if she did that earlier this year or that was last year. No, she didn't run a Deca Fit last year, so she did that at some point earlier this year, the 32:29 or 8.
That was this year, right?
And previously held the Deca Mile record until Vivian Tafudo did it. So she's got a lot of records and a lot of pretty impressive victories. And if she doesn't win, she's getting second, except for that one race in Philadelphia or Orlando, wherever that Deca was. Yeah,
yep.
She had a rough showing there, but right now I think she's, no disrespect to Lauren, the woman to beat.
Yeah, it's the second at World Championships, right? I mean, that's a good outcome. But then like Decafit world record holder, High Rocks world record holder, High Rocks doubles world record holder for mixed and same gender, Deca mixed world record. She's like she had the mile world record. She just has like all of the records.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Pretty decent.
It's not a check in the negative column.
No. I misspoke before. I had last year we gave the hybrid award to Ryan Kent.
Okay.
Not Hunter. And last year Tara Jackson won this award for the women.
Yep. Who going with Bracken?
Rich,
sorry. Well, I'll go with Lauren Weeks here. The High Rocks world champion Also was the European champion, was third at North Americans. When it comes to the big races, she shows up. She's finished second in these last 2 majors as well. She is just an absolute gamer when it comes time for it.
If Meg is the best hybrid athlete on the planet, then Lauren's the best hybrid racer. They also both dipped into Goofy Games.
They both dipped into Goofy Games.
And they were 1-2.
Lauren won Rally Valley over Meg. That was like a little bit more CrossFit-y. And then did they do any other Goofy Games? I think Lauren did
Meg,
Go
I
Rock.
thought she did Alpha Warrior because she was talking about obstacles and having
Meg
fun
did
on
Alpha
it.
Warrior, got third. Did she do some other Goofy stuff? I don't think either of them did Grit. They're both gonna do Battle Bunker, but decided not to.
Yeah.
Like
Which is too bad for the sport.
bobbing prowess is not where it needs to be.
Set the sport
Lauren
back
can
10 years
swim.
by them not going.
Yeah, for sure. That was about that fucking. Just,
I mean, it's them.
it's them.
So I'm going to
have to
say,
nominate someone. Yeah.
I'm going to go I'm going to say Carly Wopat.
All right.
Because
Solid choice.
she is a world record holder.
Mhm.
She's one of the only world record holders remaining here. However, she also is Go Ruck. She's been a runner-up in 2 Goofy Games.
Yep. Alpha Warrior and Grit.
Could have won one of them.
She won Battle
Should've
Bunker.
won.
She definitely should have won.
So she's 2-time Goofy Game champ, 2-time runner-up, and a world record holder in the mile. And her strong. Sorry, not mile.
You finished third.
Yeah. So she deserves something today. Here's her nomination. And then I think we turn around and give it to one of the first 2 women.
Yes.
Which for my vote is Meg.
I'm gonna vote for Meg as well.
She just had the best season.
I agree.
Yeah.
Lauren hasn't raced enough. And even the one she has, Meg's been a little better.
Just like the records, it's like another tip, and like the High Rocks World Championship. Yeah, the High Rocks World Championship is obviously a big piece to have in your year. But if we're looking at the full body of work, like it's hard to go against Meg on this one.
Head-to-head matters.
Head matters within the year, yes, Jack. Over the course of a career, doesn't.
We're talking.
That being said, Lauren might just win Worlds again.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, we'll see.
A racer versus athlete distinguishing was pretty good.
But then, yeah, Meg beat her head-to-head the past 2. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
On to OCR Athlete of the Year, previous champion Ryan Atkins. Nominating first on the men's. Who? Me?
I was first. I just did Megan.
So me.
Yeah.
I will nominate first. I don't really know.
Yeah, you do.
I got 3 names on here, but I'll toss to our guy VJ again. Spartan World Champion, Spartan Pan American Champion. Don't forget. Undefeated in the 3K series this year, right? And but that was like primarily where he spent his time in that 3K. But when he did show up, he won and beat all of the best athletes in the world. So getting that Spartan World Championship is really what kind of sets the tone. Boy, there's
It's
kind
hard
of a
to win when you're the
season.
favorite.
Yeah. It's kind of a strange. Yeah, exactly. And he was able to battle back. Kind of a strange season for OCR.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to VJ.
I like it.
He missed the podium in Savage Race though. So.
Oh, that's true.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, kind of.
That's true.
That's it.
Savage Race got mentioned twice now. That's great.
I'm going to actually say Rylan. OCR Worlds got himself 3K victory. Got himself a second place in Trifecta Championships. His just across the board range wasn't touched in OCR this year. And he has world titles to go with it this season. Not many. How many men can have a series podium, a series win, and a world championship win this season? There are like 2 or 3 guys that can claim that, and so he gets my vote.
The only thing against it is like he really wasn't that great at this 3K format. He won 1, but then
rushed
6th and 5th
twice it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was his season, right? He came into Pennsylvania, into Palmerton, very, very hamstrung with injury.
Did you beat him there?
I don't think I did.
It was close.
Neither of us made the
He didn't
final.
make round
I know.
two.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you may
He
have.
made round
Same
two.
as
He
Tyler
didn't make
Bierman.
round three.
Made round 2. Yeah, did not make round 3. BK made round 2. We saw him out there, yoked.
So yeah, he had struggles, but his highs are as high as anyone's highs this year.
No doubt.
I mean, he's untouchable at OCR Worlds if some of the toppest dogs aren't there.
No VJ, no Kempson, no Sean Roberts. Just saying.
Was Atkins there?
Atkins was there.
It's a quality win.
True.
If he or Lindsay show up, it's a quality win.
True.
So he did that there, got him also in trifecta championships, kind of laid an egg in Abu Dhabi, but he did everything along the way. We had a season where we don't have consistency across the top. The trifecta champ didn't win anything else. Abu Dhabi champ didn't win anything else.
This is kind of
Series
a tough one.
champ didn't win anything else.
For sure.
So I'm choosing the guy who won the most things.
Jack, what do you think?
It's tough. And we didn't mention him for most improved earlier. I just wanted to give a shout out to Ian Hosick for double.
I had him for
places.
performance. I don't know if most improved is.
We didn't mention it earlier this year, but
I'm
we're
for best
talking about
performance.
OCR Athlete of the Year. Figured at least mention that. But
Totally. 2 second places OCR World Championship. For
Huge.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That wasn't on the Vegas odds.
No.
That was like Manuel Defoe just ended up on 3rd place in all these races. That was unexpected. I think I'm gonna go Pablo Hordina. How many people have a podium at their regional championship, which he did at the 3K in Madrid, and he got a podium at World Championships? VJ's the only other person who could say they did that. Nicole won it, and I know it's different, but you had Karine Carlson.
Wait, what did VJ do?
He won Mexico, the regional championship.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then 3rd place, you had Atkins, who was not down in Mexico. You didn't have on the women's side, like Lindsay was not there. They didn't have a Middle East one for Elisa, and 3rd place, Esther, she was not in Madrid. So look at his accomplishments right there. That's pretty.
Ahead of Gregory Basilica, huh?
I had Gregory down. You have to put him trifecta champ, 2nd in the fake championship. I almost didn't put Ryan Atkins down because I was like, oh, he kind of had a down year. But when you look at it, he won that Beast championship. He was World OCR WC 15K champ. He was 4th at the 3K, 3rd at Spartan World Championship. What did he get? And did he get 3rd at trifecta as well?
Yeah, he's certainly above Pablo.
It's way above Pablo. This is like
I'm nominating him. Okay,
appreciated.
Yeah,
but are we really not going to nominate Ryan Atkins? He may have had the best season.
This is where my disclaimer in the first minute of the show comes back to play. That the 21K is not listed as a championship on Spartan's website. And so I can't count it much more than just a stacked beast.
Fair.
Unfortunately, if that was also considered a world championship, then he's clearly the vote. But it wasn't.
But he also has 3 other world championship podiums, not including that one, with OCR WC 15K, Spartan World Championship, and trifecta.
The other thing for Ryan Atkins, he was obvious to list. I just wanted to give Pablo a shout out. He completed all those career check marks at this point, getting that 15K at OCR Worlds, getting on the trifecta. Like we knew it was possible, but he finally got wins or podiums at the missing distances that he had. So it's kind of hard to argue against him realistically. But the main reason I didn't mention him is because this is called the Hobie Call Award. We just moved Ryan Atkins into the #1 spot.
Might have to be Ryan Atkins Award.
What are we going to have to rename it?
No, I don't think we need to.
And if okay, I was going to say if we're renaming it, how can he not win it during that year?
It's made a Sheila G.
Yeah, here's the thing. What was the point of emphasis for the OCR season this year? 3K series, 3K World Championship, trifecta, and OCR Worlds. He got one of those as a win.
3rd and everything else, or 2nd.
OCR Worlds was like not very good this year.
No, but he and Ryland split there.
Yep.
And there's argument to be made. Ryland would have won that day too if he hadn't left. Ryland beat him in trifecta and won a 3K series. Atkins won a bigger race on paper, but then it wasn't called a world championship. So I just.
In which Rylan was there.
True.
I know you don't care about head-to-head, but head-to-head this year.
No, I care about head-to-head. I'm just abiding by the rules of the governing body here.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't win the things that were points of emphasis this year.
Right. This was a down year for him.
And it was a spectacular year.
And he still had 3 world podiums. Not including the beast.
In summation, I vote Ryan Atkins.
VJ Jones with a regional and world in the point of emphasis for the season. Like, he doesn't have a massive body of work because he kind of picked his spots. He only ran and a national series win.
VJ won the first and the last 3K of the season. No one knew what they were getting themselves into. He was still the favorite. Everyone knew what they were getting themselves into. He was still the favorite. I think Ryan Atkins nominating him makes sense, but I think he's going to finish second one more time, and I would give it to VJ Jones.
Giving it to VJ.
I can live with that.
But I'd rename it the Ryan Atkins Award, not the Hobie Call Award.
The name is the name. Female OCR Athlete of the Year, our final award. It's because it's time. I'm like hungry. I need to take this suit off.
Yeah.
Who's up? BK.
Bracket.
To me, this is the same argument that we just made, except she checks every box. Lindsay Webster won all the important things. All of them.
Spartan World Champion, OCR WC World Champion 15K, OCR World Championship 3K runner-up, and trifecta champ this year.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
It's not a bad year.
And a down
year.
It's
a down year by Lindsay's standpoint because she lost 2 races.
2 races.
Right. And she didn't do a lot of the
first time since 2019 that she's lost Spartan race.
Yeah. So she's still the best.
2019. It's 2023, the end of it.
That's crazy.
I still don't think it's close.
You're right. I don't know.
Yeah. However, you just mentioned 2 world championship wins and 2 second places. Nicole Miracle has 2 world championship wins.
3 world championships if we count trifecta.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, OCR Worlds 3K, FISO 14K, Nicole ended up winning. And then she was second in the OCR Worlds 15K. And
at the 3K FISO.
Yes, 3K FISO behind Ida. So actually on paper, it depends on which one you want to weight more, FISO versus Spartan. But the answer is Lindsay, realistically. Heck of a season by Nicole. Glad she's healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that now that we saw Ida and Esther, Annalisa, if we can get Emma back, throw Nicole back, like the sport's in a good place competitive wise.
Yeah, Annie should be good. Yep. She was in a podium on OCR World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
So she's still around. And when she finish at FISA, was she like 4th or 5th or 6th?
Annie was around 5th. Yeah. Plus or minus a spot.
Yeah. Which turns out, which is a good result, how poorly most North American athletes did there.
Yeah.
Think of what it would mean for Nicole's resume if that 14K had been a 15K.
I mean, that would just be the next. That would be
on paper. It would have stacked up nicer.
She's the best at 14K.
She's never lost a 14K race.
I had Elisa Petrova on here as well, just being second place at Spartan, 4th at FISO, 3K, second FISO, 15K. Esther just, yeah, I mean.
She's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean.
If Alyssa's in the conversation, Esther's in the conversation.
Esther has also no wins.
Well, you got to put Ida in over Esther at that point because she has a FISO win, multiple national series wins.
Yeah.
And podiums.
Esther, again, Esther is like a basilico here. It's like she's probably the best racer, but on paper, it's not an awesome season for her standard or for anyone's standard, really, for these top like 4 or 5.
I'd take that season if I.
Are we all just happy to say it's Lindsay?
It's absolutely Lindsay.
Okay, good. Jack?
It's totally Lindsay.
Yeah, it's Lindsay. Good. I said it even as I was talking about Nicole.
Second year in a row, Lindsay Webster wins this award. No surprise.
Probably would have won it if this award existed years before.
She will continue. I'm sure she won 2 years ago where the records are lost in time.
I'll listen.
Take a listen back. Yeah. That'll do it. That'll wrap up the 2023 OCR Awards. Okra, checks in the mail, Okras in the mail. It's been a great season. Really fun being able to see how hybrids really emerged to give us things to watch and talk about. That's going to be exciting to go see what happens going forward. In terms of OCR, who the heck knows, man? Who the heck knows?
I think it's going to be interesting. They're bringing back the normal distances again for Spartan. I can see you had a lot of buy-in at World Championship on the men's side, specifically for the 3K. Like, it'll be cool having that at a couple events, but not being the focus. I think OCR is actually going to have a little bit of a resurgence next year.
All I want for Christmas is Sprint, Super, Beast, Lindsay versus Nicole. That's it.
That'd be great.
That's all I want. And then on the men's side, Rylan, Ryan, Kempson. I want to see Veerman. I want to see all these guys. I want Ryan Woods to come back and run one of them. Lars. I want it all. But specifically, I'd settle for Lindsay, Nicole in all three races.
That'd be great.
Plus Seattle. Yeah. And Emma, please come join it.
That'll do it for Race Brain 2023. We did it, boys.
Checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail.